Chapter 1662. Moreover, Tang Yin had never seen this person before. Now that they met again, when had they ever met before? Haha, did you forget? When we were in Songshan, we were at XX Square. Master Yu was an expert at picking up girls. He was good at making up lies. He saw Tang Yin and Lin Yi together, and guessed that Tang Yin was from Songshan, or at least knew Lin Yi. She must have been to Songshan, so he randomly mentioned a place in Songshan. 7 asterisk. Normally, people without good memories would be confused by his ambiguous answer. They would even wonder if they really knew this person and if they had met him before. But Tang Yin had never been to XX Square before. It was very far from Songshan's first high. Before Tang Yin met Lin Yi, she helped her mother sell barbecue in her free time. How would she have time to play at XX Square? She hadn't been to that place since she met Lin Yi. So Tang Yin frowned and said faintly, "You got the wrong person, right? I've never seen you before." Of course, if it was a girl who was vain, when she saw young Master use branded clothing, she might take advantage of him and say, "Ah, it's you." Then the two of them would start chatting and get what they needed, but Tang Yin was obviously not that kind of person. Even if she wasn't with Lin Yi, she wouldn't do such a thing, let alone when she was with Lin Yi. Holy Church! I'm not mistaken, it's definitely you. Master Yu smiled. At that time I said I wanted to pursue you and gave you a BMW. You said to think about it. Did you forget? Master Yu continued to use his method of picking up girls, attacking with money. The hidden house Yu was a family of alchemists. Naturally, they were richer than normal hidden houses. Normal hidden houses had to consider where to get money from and think of ways to support a normal house to earn money for them. But the hidden house, you didn't have to do that. They could earn a lot by selling elixirs. Are you done? Before Tang Yin could say anything, Lin Yi opened his mouth first. He looked at the baldy in front of him playfully. He didn't think that his last bowling ball wouldn't have turned him into a retard, but he still came here to show off. Lin Yi was a little puzzled. Was this guy looking for trouble? After suffering so many losses, he still dared to show up in front of him. Wasn't he afraid of getting beaten up again? However, when Lin Yi saw the followers behind him, he understood. So there was an Earth-class, early-phase master following behind him. No wonder this kid was so cocky. He thought that this time, he would definitely be able to take him down. I say, bro, aren't you being a busybody? Although we have some grudges, I met an acquaintance here now. It doesn't affect you and your wife. Why are you in such a hurry? Young Master Yu glanced at Lin Yi and said unhurriedly, "If you're done, you can get lost. Do you need me to give you a kick and let you go on a trip to space? Or do you want to play trapeze?" Lin Yi ignored young Master Yu and warned him directly. Young Master, you couldn't help but be angry. I say, aren't you being too arrogant? Kid, this is the territory of the Hidden Tang family. Since you can come here, I'm afraid you're also a guest of the Hidden Tang family, right? I don't want to make things bigger. You know what's going on. To be honest, young Master, you could roughly guess the purpose of Lin Yi's sudden appearance here. Old Master Tang's 80th birthday. Perhaps Lin Yi was also here on behalf of a relative, but it definitely wasn't a close relative, because the relatives who were close to the Hidden Tang family were all in the Hidden Tang family's banquet hall. For example, his uncle and brother. Only the second young master of the family, like him, would come out to have fun. The slightly more important people were all eating in the banquet hall. So, young Master, you wasn't afraid of Lin Yi having some powerful background. Plus, he asked around before and didn't hear of any hidden house having such a person. So he was even less afraid of him. Lin Yi, honey, is this guy crazy? Xiao Xiao glanced at young Master Yu and said to Lin Yi. Tang Yun sis said she hasn't seen him and he's still talking to himself. Is he hallucinating? Why don't you treat him? I think so. Lin Yi nodded. If you want to treat him, then follow him. With that, Lin Yi ignored young Master Yu and brought Xiao Xiao and Tang Yin into the restaurant. Lin Yi, Tang Yin. Young Master, you knew the names of these two. Tang Yin, quite a nice name. At this moment, young Master Yu was even more confident. Since Xiao Xiao called Lin Yi honey, then she must be Lin Yi's girlfriend. Tang Yin was her sister, so it didn't have much to do with Lin Yi. If he went to pick up girls, he would be in the right. So, young Master Yu didn't listen to Lin Yi's advice at all and followed them again. Beauty Tang Yin, you really don't remember? If you don't like a BMW, then I can buy you a Lamborghini. Young Master Yu was always willing to spend money on girls. He didn't have a lot of pocket money, but if he secretly refined some pills and sold them, it would be a lot of money. It seems like you really are sick. I really have to treat you, Lin Yi said as he took out a few needles and pierced young Master Yu's body a few times. Young Master Yu didn't even realize what was going on before his legs gave way and he knelt on the ground, unable to stand up. You, what did you do to me? Suddenly feeling that his legs had gone numb, Master Yu jumped in shock. Although he was also a practitioner, how could he be as fast as Lin Yi? So, when Lin Yi made his move, he didn't even have time to react. I didn't do anything. I saw that you were a little hyperactive, and your legs didn't seem to listen to you. I told you to stop following me, but you still followed me, so I broke your legs, Lin Yi said faintly. Kid, what did you do to young Master Yu? Yellow and blue hair saw the scene too, but they didn't expect Lin Yi to do this. When they reacted, it was too late. They ran to the front, and young Master Yu was already kneeling. Kill him for me. Young Master Yu didn't expect Lin Yi to be so vicious. He crippled his legs in one move. Although he didn't know what trick the other party used, no matter what it was, young Master Yu was a little anxious. If he became disabled in the future, how could he pick up girls? Kid, what did you do to young Master Yu? You better heal young Master Yu quickly. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Blue hair was more experienced. He saw that Lin Yi just used a few needles, casually, and young Master Yu's legs were crippled. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1663. This should be similar to the pressure point techniques in the martial arts world. There should be a way to deal with it, and it wouldn't really be a cripple. So he wanted Lin Yi to heal Master Yu's leg first, and then he'd teach Lin Yi a lesson. Maybe it's already broken. Lin Yi smiled. You're not polite? What do you mean by that? Don't talk to him. He just stabbed a few acupuncture points on my leg. My uncle can take care of it. Just kill this kid for me. Young Master Yu was an alchemist, so he had some knowledge in medical skills. His uncle was also proficient in the art of sealing acupoints, so he wasn't too worried. Moreover, there was a reason for this. If he killed Lin Yi, no one would say anything. Blue hair nodded. No problem, Master Yu. You can kill me? Lin Yi couldn't help but laugh. Just you? Yes, just me. Blue hair's Earth class early phase strength was immediately revealed. Kid, I heard that you're a mystic late phase peak? You think you're so strong, don't you? But what do you think now? Oh, Lin Yi responded faintly, and the aura of an Earth class burst out. Earth class, huh? Is it strong? I think I'm one too. Blue hair's face changed. He didn't think that Lin Yi was an Earth class as well, and had the same strength as him. Of course, the ones who were even more shocked were the yellow hair and Master Yu. They looked at each other, and the yellow hair said with some fear, You hid your strength again. I didn't hide my strength. Lin Yi said faintly, 7 asterisk, impossible. When you fought me, you were only mystic early phase, and when I saw you at the school gate, you were mystic late phase, and when I saw you at the resort, you were mystic late phase peak, and now you're Earth class early phase. The yellow hair said in disbelief. Can't I level up? Lin Yi looked at Blondie as if he was looking at a retard and said, I'm always leveling up. Nonsense, Yellow Hair said. How can you level up so quickly? Don't talk nonsense with him. I'll deal with him. Lan Mao felt that what Huang Mao said was meaningless. Even if Lin Yi used to be a mystic early phase master, Lin Yi was now an Earth class early phase master, so he had to be careful. Fortunately, he had been famous for a long time, and if Lin Yi was really as he said, and had just broken through to Earth rank, then he also had hope of defeating Lin Yi. However, at this moment, he was no longer as confident as before. In a battle between Earth rank experts, not only did they have to rely on the difference in strength, other factors were also crucial. For example, the quality of one's cultivation method, the level of one's martial skills, one's combat experience, luck, and so on. A battle between Earth rank experts wasn't like Earth rank versus Mystic rank, where as long as there was a difference of one level, they would be able to defeat the other. This situation was common before Mystic rank, but after Mystic rank and Earth class, there was a watershed. You couldn't win just by relying on strength, unless the difference was huge. For example, Earth class late phase versus Earth class early phase, or even higher, Sky class versus Earth class early phase versus Earth class late phase peak. There was a huge difference. So, he didn't have much confidence against Lin Yi, but he wasn't too worried either. You're also Earth class? I hope you won't disappoint me. Lan Mao's face turned serious. It's been a long time since I fought someone of the same level as me. The Hidden House Association's restriction is really annoying. Now that I've met you, I hope you won't be a one-hit deal. Of course, I'll do my best. You don't have to worry about that. Lin Yi smiled, but on the inside he was very nervous. This was his first time fighting an Earth class. Boss Yu from before didn't count at all. That guy was a coward, and after getting blasted by him once, he was traumatized and didn't dare to fight him face to face anymore. What a joke! However, this Lan Mao in front of him wasn't that kind of person. He gave Lin Yi the feeling that he was very steady and deep, which didn't match his gangster look. This made Lin Yi feel an inexplicable pressure. Take out your weapon. Lan Mao looked at Lin Yi and said, although young master you told him to kill Lin Yi as soon as possible, the opponent was still a master on the same level as him, so he couldn't just ignore it. Weapon? I don't have a weapon, Lin Yi said faintly. Oh. Lan Mao paused, not expecting Lin Yi to say that. Looking at Lin Yi's expression, he wasn't sure if Lin Yi really didn't have a weapon, or if he was just pretending. Your technique doesn't need a weapon. However, there were some techniques that didn't need a weapon, and Lan Mao's technique had one that didn't need a weapon, so he didn't think it was too strange and only asked. Technique? What technique? Lin Yi was a bit surprised. You don't know? Lan Mao paused and looked at Lin Yi strangely. Tell me. Lin Yi felt like he had overlooked something. He had just broken through to Earth class, so there were a lot of things he didn't know, but he didn't ask Rock Candy. Lin Yi could understand the weapon that Lan Mao was talking about, but Lin Yi didn't understand the technique. Take this. Lan Mao didn't explain. He suddenly laughed and flew up. Both of his hands turned into eagle claws, and an inexplicable goo-goo sound came out of his mouth. He shouted, Berserk Eagle, Thunderclap Claw. Along with Lan Mao's shout, the true energy around Lan Mao's body suddenly turned into a faint light blue color, and his opponent's claws seemed to have really turned into eagle claws, wrapped by a faintly discernible true energy. Under the effect of light refraction, it looked especially strange. Lin Yi's brows slightly twisted, and he immediately understood what he had overlooked. He also knew what a technique was. It turned out that this Lan Mao not only cultivated inner force, but he also cultivated martial techniques. However, when Lin Yi was in the mystic class, he had never heard of anyone cultivating martial techniques. Even physical experts rarely had special martial techniques. Previously, when Lan Mao asked him what martial technique it was, and Lin Yi expressed that he didn't know, Lan Mao was obviously very surprised. This meant that this martial technique should be a very common thing, and he didn't know. The only possibility was that this martial technique could only be cultivated by Earth class experts and above, and Mystic class experts couldn't cultivate it. However, in the blink of an eye, Lon Mao's opponent's claws had already attacked Lin Yi. Target equals _ blank. Chapter 1664. Lin Yi suddenly felt an extremely overbearing aura pressing down on him, making him feel like he was suffocating. Lin Yi secretly cursed his bad luck. He didn't ask Crystal Candy about the Earth stage beforehand. He almost suffered a big loss this time. Looking at the pair of eagle claws, Lin Yi didn't dare to face it head-on. He could only quickly dodge backwards. If it wasn't for Lin Yi's qigong, he would have been caught by the blue-haired man. Even so, the blue-haired man's claw, wind, swept across Lin Yi's face. Lin Yi's face suddenly felt like it was being cut by a carving knife. Phew! Lin Yi touched his cheek. There was immediately a bloodstain on his hand. It was obvious that he was bleeding. But Lin Yi secretly felt lucky. If he was caught by the blue-haired man, he would definitely be injured. The battle had just started. Lin Yi already suffered a big loss. This made him very embarrassed. Martial arts. He didn't have any martial arts. This was the main reason why Lin Yi suffered a loss. When Lin Yi was in the mystic stage, he often relied on his own tyrannical strength to fight with the opponent. There was no trick to this. Whoever had a higher cultivation would be more powerful. But now it seemed to be completely different. The opponent didn't fight you head-on, but used techniques to win. But now, even if Lin Yi knew the gap between him and the opponent, there was no other way. Even if he learned martial arts now, it would be too late. 7 * Holy Hall. Berserk Eagle, Thunderclap Claw. Second style, Divine Eagle Tail Swing. The blue-haired man didn't give Lin Yi a chance to breathe at all. At the same time, when Lin Yi barely dodged the attack, he made a second move towards Lin Yi, only to see his body suddenly swaying in the air, like a black lightning, with a huge wind formed by true qi attacking Lin Yi again. Lin Yi cried bitterly in his heart. This was simply a scam. The treatment of individual cultivators was different from that of cultivators from clans and sections. He had suffered a great loss this time. However, thinking was just thinking. Lin Yi really had to face it now. He couldn't just admit defeat, right? Not only would that be too shameful, but what would happen to Tang Yin if she admitted defeat? Was it possible to let young Master Yu bring it back? Therefore, no matter what, Lin Yi couldn't compromise. He had already come to this point, so he could only brace himself and fight on. Haha. Kid, you just broke through to the Earth stage. You haven't learned any martial skills yet, right? Blue Hair laughed out loud, but the eagle claw in his hand wasn't slow at all. It directly clawed at Lin Yi's head. Martial skills? Of course, I learned them. Lin Yi naturally couldn't let Blue Hair know that he didn't know anything. If that was the case, then Blue Hair would be even more unscrupulous. Then wouldn't it be a one-sided abuse? Therefore, Lin Yi could only lie to him first. Looking at Blue Hair above him, Lin Yi clenched his teeth and activated the art of dragon mastery. He concentrated all of his strength on his right fist and suddenly rushed upwards, ignoring Blue Hair's eagle claw. Lin Yi thought that if he was caught, then he was caught. As long as he didn't grab his vital parts, then there would be no problem. He would slowly recover and give this Blue Hair a destructive blow first. If he didn't fight head-on, then he would fight head-on. If he fought head-on a few times, he could heal himself, but Blue Hair couldn't. If he used too many moves that would hurt both sides, then the one who would suffer in the end would still be Blue Hair. Rising Dragon Fist. Lin Yi didn't know anything about moves or martial skills. He couldn't think of a name in a short amount of time, but in order to trick Blue Hair, Lin Yi suddenly remembered when he was playing Street Fighter 4 with Meng Yao and Yushu. There was a move called Rising Dragon Fist, and Lin Yi's current movement was very similar to Rising Dragon Fist. His right fist punched towards Blue Hair in the air. It was somewhat similar, so Lin Yi directly gave it this name. When Lin Yi said the name Rising Dragon Fist, Blue Hair clearly froze. He had never heard of this martial skill before, but looking at Lin Yi's move, it was extremely familiar. He suddenly remembered that when he went to the arcade with Master Yu a while ago, The characters there seemed to use this move. In reality, there were people who used this move. Originally, Blue Hair's Berserk Eagle's thunderclap hand was very sharp, especially the second move, Divine Eagle's Tail. It was aimed directly at the top of Lin Yi's head, but because of Lin Yi's rising dragon fist, it made him hesitate. He didn't know how to deal with it. As a result, his claw didn't claw Lin Yi's head, but grabbed onto Lin Yi's shoulder. In a split second, 5 bloody holes appeared on Lin Yi's shoulder. Fresh blood flowed out in an instant, and Lin Yi's fist also stuck close to Blue Hair's body, hitting Blue Hair's face. The powerful force made Blue Hair's body fly up along with Lin Yi's powerful force. Then he landed heavily on the ground not far away and spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. However, although Blue Hair looked like he spat out blood and his face was swollen, it seemed to be serious. In fact, it didn't cause too much damage. The blood he spat out was only bleeding from his mouth from Lin Yi's punch. It wasn't an internal injury, and the swelling on his face was just an external injury. With an expert of the same level, Lin Yi just punched hard. He didn't hit the vital part, so naturally he couldn't do anything to Blue Hair. So, it looked like both of them were injured, but in fact, it was Lin Yi who suffered some hidden losses. Berserk Eagle's Thunderclap Claw, a very powerful martial art. Lin Yi pretended to be indifferent and said faintly. In fact, he was stalling for time. Lin Yi channeled the art of dragon mastery to heal the injury on his shoulder. This claw was quite serious. Lin Yi's shoulder blade was cracked by Blue Hair. So, even if Lin Yi didn't heal the wound, he had to heal the cracked bone. Otherwise, it would affect the flexibility of Lin Yi's arm, and he would suffer a great loss. Rising Dragon Fist? You call that a martial art? After truly tasting the power of Lin Yi's Rising Dragon Fist, Blue Hair immediately snorted. He thought it was some powerful move, but it turned out to be just an ordinary punch. There was nothing special about it. It was plain and ordinary. It was just a bit like the Rising Dragon Fist in the game. In fact, it was just for show. It looked good but was useless. Thinking back to Lin Yi's reaction to the martial art, Blue Hair had a rough idea. Lin Yi definitely didn't know any martial art, but he didn't want to admit defeat. So he imitated a move from the game and came up with the Rising Dragon Fist to scare himself. Otherwise, if it weren't for the fact that Blue Hair was hesitant about the unknown name of the Rising Dragon Fist, he believed that he would have grabbed Lin Yi's skull and killed him on the spot. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1665. Of course, this was just his assumption. Even if Lin Yi didn't make a move, he'd definitely be able to dodge the Blue Hair's claw. But dodging like this wasn't a solution. He had to face it head-on. The school beauty's personal expert, of course. There's an even more powerful move in a bit. After Lin Yi healed the injury on his shoulder blade, he began the next step of his plan. No pop-up window chi, an even more powerful move? Blue Hair blanked, but he wasn't in a hurry to fight Lin Yi. From his point of view, Lin Yi was just a practitioner who had just risen to Earth class and hadn't learned any martial arts yet. Blue Hair was 100% sure that he could defeat this kind of opponent, so he didn't mind playing around with Lin Yi a bit. One had to know that, as an Earth class expert, stepping on another Earth class expert was a very refreshing thing to do. This kind of opportunity was quite hard to come by. Yes, it's called Vacuum Wave Punch, Lin Yi said. This was a move from Street Fighter IV, and Lin Yi casually used it to buy time for himself. Vacuum Wave Punch? The blue-haired man stared blankly for a moment before laughing out loud. I say, have you become stupid from playing games? Vacuum Wave Punch? Do you think you're playing Street Fighter? Oh, I learned this move from the game. You guessed it right, Lin Yi said. Congratulations, but there's no reward. Ha 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 ha. Then come, let me see what you've learned. Now, Blue Hair was completely sure that Lin Yi was bullshitting. He didn't know any martial arts at all. The so-called martial arts were just something he put together at the last minute to scare people. This move is very powerful. This move is very powerful. In the game, it's usually called an ultimate move. You have to be careful. It won't be good if it injures you. You said it yourself. You're here to celebrate the birthday of the hidden Tang family's elder Tang. And so are we, so you know what I mean. Lin, he didn't know why he was wasting time, but he needed time, so he had to waste time. The blue-haired man was speechless. What do you mean by this? Could it be that he wanted to beg for mercy? It's fine if you beg for mercy. Just cure young Master Yu's leg and leave your girl to us. Crawl under my crotch, and we'll let this matter go. Oh, no wonder the master said that like master, like servant. The master has delusions, and so do you. Are you indulging in fantasies? Begging for mercy? I think it's more like you begging me for mercy. I'm reminding you out of goodwill. I'm afraid that I'll kill you when I use my ultimate skill. You still don't know what's going on? Lin Yi said, as for the crotch, leave it to your young Master Yu. He happens to be lying on the ground. His leg is broken, so it's more convenient for him to crawl. Why, yeah, blue-haired man, kill this kid for me. The two girls beside him will split them. Young Master Yu was fuming after listening to Lin Yi's words. However, he was also waiting for Lin Yi to be so arrogant. This way, he would have an excuse to kill Lin Yi. Lin Yi was the one who started it, and it had nothing to do with him. Don't worry, young Master Yu. Blue-haired man nodded, then stood up and made a very strange posture in the air. He said, let me see your vacuum Hadouken. However, before that, I want to let you have a taste of my power. Berserk Eagle, Thunderbolt Claw, Berserk Lightning. After saying that, blue-haired man rushed toward Lin Yi at a very fast speed. His body was like a berserk eagle, like a comet rushing toward Lin Yi. With this kind of speed and this kind of power, ordinary people wouldn't have a good time if they were hit. However, Lin Yi didn't dodge. Instead, he clasped his wrists together and made a very strange posture. He shouted, Vacuum Hadouken! Boom! A loud sound, like a meteorite colliding, suddenly set off a monstrous wave of chi not far in front of Lin Yi, and the center of the collision was the body of blue-haired man. Along with this loud sound, blue-haired man's body suddenly bent like a bow. He flew out like a big shrimp. The clothes in front of his body were all blown into pieces, and his chest was a bloody mess, as if he had been hit by something. It was very scary. Bang! Blue-haired man's body crashed to the ground. He struggled a few times on the ground, and finally stood up shakily. Vacuum. Hadouken? Blue-haired man looked at Lin Yi in disbelief, as if he was looking at a monster. Before, when Lin Yi used the rising dragon fist, blue-haired man didn't think too much about it. He thought that Lin Yi didn't know any martial arts, but in order to put on a show, he used the rising dragon fist. Moreover, the power wasn't very strong. Therefore, blue-haired man didn't pay much attention to the big move that Lin Yi said. He thought that Lin Yi was deliberately tricking him. After all, words like big move were common words used by people who played games. How many people who practiced martial arts would tell their opponents that they were going to use big moves? Wasn't that too childish? Later, when Lin Yi said vacuum Hadouken, blue-haired man didn't even put it in his eyes. He knew that this vacuum Hadouken was the same as the rising dragon fist. They were both moves from Street Fighter, and he was 100% sure that Lin Yi was simply tricking him into using it. But what he didn't expect was that Lin Yi's vacuum Hadouken seemed to have the same effect as the vacuum Hadouken in the game. With just one move, he was sent flying and his chest was injured. He could feel that a few of his ribs were broken, and he suffered serious internal injuries. He couldn't believe that Lin Yi's moves were actually his martial arts. Could it be that he learned martial arts from the game? But disbelief was disbelief. The truth was in front of him, and blue-haired man had no choice but to believe it. Yes, there's still a third move, called Tornado Kick. Lin Yi nodded and said seriously, But in his heart, he was secretly regretting that he didn't have enough time. The energy bomb he condensed was too small, and it didn't cause too much damage to Blue-Haired Man. However, to be able to condense such an energy bomb for so long, Lin-Yi was already very satisfied. To be able to suddenly turn the tide of the battle under a situation where he didn't know any martial arts at all, and turn defeat into victory, this was already not easy. If Lin-Yi didn't use such trickery and made up a few specious martial arts names, Blue-Haired Man wouldn't have been so easily injured by him. Now it seemed that Blue-Haired Man had obviously changed from his previous doubts to believing Lin-Yi's words. From his point of view, this move of Lin-Yi's vacuum Hadouken was really similar to the vacuum Hadouken in the game. It was a chi punch out of thin air. Chapter 1665. Gift of a Villa Pooh. When Blue-Haired Man heard Lin-Yi's third move, he couldn't take it anymore and vomited blood. So, this guy really learned the moves from the Street Fighter game. Blue-Haired Man's heart couldn't take it anymore. He was angry and regretful. If he had believed this guy earlier, then he wouldn't have been so stupid as to get hit by the vacuum Hadouken head-on. The result was great. He was seriously injured, and Lin-Yi seemed to be fine. Holy church, even if Blue-Haired Man wasn't injured, in front of Lin-Yi's strange martial arts, he still didn't have the confidence to win. So now he no longer had the intention to fight recklessly with Lin-Yi. He looked at Lin-Yi and said, "Good move, but the mountain doesn't move the water. There's still a long way to go. We'll meet again someday." "No need, we'll meet again someday. Don't leave today," Lin-Yi said as he walked towards Blue-Haired Man. From Lin-Yi's perspective, this Blue-Haired Man was definitely a big threat to him. As for Lin-Yi's martial arts, he couldn't be any clearer than he already was. What kind of martial arts was there? It was just something he made up. Maybe this Blue-Haired Man would go back and think things through, then come back for revenge. How could Lin-Yi give him that chance? This guy was different from Boss Yu. Boss Yu was scared after being beaten by him. But this guy, according to what he said, would come back for revenge in the future. How could Lin-Yi let him go? Let this guy go back. The Hidden House Yu was also a family that was proficient in medicine and elixir making. Maybe he would recover soon and come back to cause trouble. So Lin-Yi didn't plan to let him go back at all. As for the others, they weren't the people involved, and they were just watching from the sidelines. It was impossible for them to figure out what he was capable of. Even if they went back and told others that he knew the rising dragon fist and Hadouken, they'd only think it was weird. They wouldn't be able to figure out what Lin-Yi's true strength was. "Kid, I'm from the Hidden House Yu, and I'm an important guest of the Hidden House Tang. You better think clearly before you make a move. Don't get yourself into trouble." Blue-Haired Man didn't think that Lin-Yi didn't plan on letting him go. He was a little scared. He was aware of his injuries, and in his current state, fighting Lin-Yi head-on would only lead to death. As for the yellow-haired man and the others, they wouldn't be of much help at all. A wise man knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. Blue Hair had no choice but to threaten Lin-Yi. Lin-Yi, on the other hand, was the kind of person who wasn't afraid of threats. The Hidden House Yu, in Lin-Yi's eyes, was strong, but not to the point where he would tremble in fear. He had already provoked the Hidden House Zhao, the Hidden House Pai, and the Hidden House Yu. There was also the Golden Clock Gate. He was beaten to death by their master. At this time, why would he be afraid of the Hidden House Yu? Although the Hidden House Yu's power was stronger, Blue-Haired Man was just a follower of the Hidden House Yu. Lin-Yi was afraid that Blue-Haired Man would figure out the key point and find trouble with him. So it was better to find trouble with Blue-Haired Man first. "Oh, then I won't kill you since we're here to celebrate the birthday of the Hidden House Tang's elder. However, the death penalty is unavoidable, but you can't escape punishment." "Lin," said faintly, "if I let you go like this, how would I lose face?" Blue-Haired Man was relieved after listening to Lin-Yi's words. As long as he didn't kill him on the spot, there wouldn't be a problem. The Hidden House Yu had a lot of excellent medical skills. After he went back, he could slowly recover, so he wasn't nervous anymore. he said. "How about I break one of my arms?" "There's no need to be so troublesome." Lin Yi had already walked in front of blue-haired man. Suddenly, he reached out and covered blue-haired man's head. A compressed chi entered blue-haired man's head. Blue-haired man only heard a muffled sound of thunder in his ear, and then he didn't know anything else. Lin Yi only blasted the nerves and meridians in blue-haired man's brain. Unless it was someone like Lin Yi who could repair it, blue-haired man would definitely become an idiot for the rest of his life. "Young master, you didn't know that blue-haired man had become an idiot." But at this moment, he looked at Lin Yi with resentment. His eyes were filled with unwillingness and anger. Three times in a row, he suffered a big loss in the hands of this guy. This made young master Yu's heart extremely sullen. Moreover, the pretty girl beside Lin Yi also made his heart itch. It wasn't that young master Yu hadn't seen the world, but he had never seen such a pure and beautiful girl like Tang Yin. Even if he had seen someone with similar looks, their temperament was much worse. How could those girls with makeup in the brothel compare to Tang Yin? So, while young master Yu swore in his heart to teach Lin Yi a lesson, he also swore to get Tang Yin. Lin Yi brought Tang Yin and Xiao Xiao into the restaurant, while blue-haired man stood there blankly, not moving an inch. The yellow-haired man helped young master Yu up, and the purple-haired man said to blue-haired man, "What are you still doing here? Young master Yu left. Hurry up and leave." However, blue-haired man didn't move an inch. The purple-haired man frowned and pushed blue-haired man, but blue-haired man fell to the ground, scaring the purple-haired man. What's going on?" "Young master Yu, blue-haired man." As he spoke, the purple-haired man quickly checked blue-haired man's breathing and found that blue-haired man's breathing was normal. He immediately became suspicious, not knowing what happened to blue-haired man. If blue-haired man fainted, blue-haired man's eyes were still open. But if he didn't faint, he still didn't speak and didn't move an inch. "Don't worry about him first. Let's carry him back first. Don't embarrass yourself here." Young master, you looked at the crowd nearby and felt his face turn hot. He was, after all, the second young master of the Hidden House Yu, and now he suffered such a huge loss. It was a huge humiliation. Yes. The purple-haired man quickly dragged blue-haired man into the business car with the others, and then hurriedly brought young master Yu back to the Hidden House Tang. However, the Hidden House Tang was having a family banquet, and young master Yu's uncle was in the banquet hall. Although young master Yu wanted to vent his grievances, he could only wait in the guest room for his uncle and aunt to come back. Tang Juqing and Wang Yujie sat next to Xiaoming, looking very reserved. This was their first time coming to this kind of occasion. When had they ever eaten in a banquet hall of a big family like this before? Grandpa Tang saw that Tang Juqing and Mrs. Tang were like ordinary citizens, and he let out a sigh of relief. These people should be easy to deal with and easy to satisfy, so he quickly gave Boss Tang a look. Chapter 1666. If he wanted to give something as a gift, it would naturally be best if it didn't have a name. If it already had a name, then was it a loan or a gift? Therefore, eldest brother Tang specifically found a newly opened high-end villa district and bought a villa. It wasn't far from here, only a few dozen kilometers away. No pop-up window, this. How can I accept this? Tang Juqing was at a loss. He didn't expect the Hidden Tang family to give him such a big gift. Although Tang Juqing knew that the Hidden Tang family was trying to please him because he was Bing Tong's biological father, he didn't dare to accept such an expensive gift. Mrs. Tang was furious when she heard Tang Juqing's words. She glared at him and kicked him. Then, she stood up and took the villa keys and the folder from eldest brother Tang's hands. "What's there to be embarrassed about?" Big brother Tang said it himself. "We're all family and it's a greeting gift. If you don't accept it, you're not giving him face. Plus, they're just giving us a house. It's nothing to the Hidden Tang family." "No, I mean, we already have a house in Songshan. It's so far away, and we can only come here a few times a year. Wouldn't it be a waste? Tang Juqing was incoherent after being scolded by Mrs. Tang. He didn't know how to explain himself. That's true. It's quite far. I know what you mean. We don't have a car. It would be convenient if we had one. Mrs. Tang said as she returned the keys to eldest brother Tang. She said with some regret, "Big brother, thank you for your kindness. But we don't have a car. It's not convenient for us to go back and forth." Eldest brother Tang didn't know what to say. Was this Mrs. Tang someone who hadn't seen the world? She was simply ruthless. Although she said she wanted to return the keys, her words revealed one thing. That was their house was too far away and they didn't have a car. It would be inconvenient for them to come here. She was asking for a car from him. Damn, isn't she too greedy? Ahem. Grandfather Tang saw that his eldest son was stunned and didn't say a word. He immediately became anxious. If they wanted a car, couldn't they just buy one for them? Now, the hidden Tang family's main point was that even money couldn't buy rock candy. Yes, we're missing a car. Sister-in-law, tell me what car you're interested in, and I'll call someone to buy it for you. Eldest brother Tang immediately said after being reminded by grandfather Tang, hearing her mother's blackmail of eldest brother Tang's words. Bing Tang couldn't help but laugh. Her mother was really a genius. She suddenly remembered what Tang Yin told her that night about her mother. She sighed. Her mother had suffered for most of her life. Being greedy wasn't a bad thing. With Bing Tang's current financial resources, it was easy for her to give Mrs. Tang 100 million to spend. Now that she saw her mother racking her brains to get more money, Bing Tang couldn't help but feel sad. She quickly said, "Mom, I'll buy you a car. You damn child." Mrs. Tang was furious when she heard Bing Tang's words. "Do I need you to buy it? If I want a car, Linny can afford it. Am I not trying to extort more from Tang Tu?" She couldn't help but say angrily, "Isn't it the same as you buying it? Isn't it the same as slapping her face? Can't she afford it?" Bing Tang was speechless. Did she buy the wrong car for her? She didn't know how her sister survived all these years. She had such a wonderful mother. Fortunately, she only enjoyed the feeling of family affection occasionally. If she stayed here all year round, Bing Tang felt that she would go crazy. "Yes, how can we let you spend money here?" Eldest brother Tang thought. It seemed that Mrs. Tang and Bing Tang had a good relationship. Otherwise, who would dare say that Bing Tang was a damn child? Then he would be a damn child. But at this moment, Bing Tang didn't speak. It was enough to prove the relationship between Bing Tang and Mrs. Tang. "I heard that there's a car called Bugatti. It seems pretty good. I have to reserve it. How about that one?" Mrs. Tang said after thinking about it. "What?" Eldest brother Tang was surprised. He didn't hear it clearly. He was usually focused on cars and didn't know much about cars. If it was a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW, he would know. But if it was a top-tier sports car, he really didn't know. "It's just a car. I quite like it. How about I buy it myself?" Mrs. Tang said, "That's fine. You buy it yourself. I will give you a card when the time comes. Tell me how much it costs, and I will transfer the money to you." Eldest brother Tang didn't mind. He thought to himself, how much could a car cost? Letting Mrs. Tang buy it herself would save him a lot of trouble. Grandfather Tang didn't know much about sports cars, so naturally he didn't know how much they cost, so he didn't say anything. Only Tang Yu's mouth twitched as he looked at Mother Tang. He felt a little sad for his father. "It's over, this is bad." Eldest brother Tang didn't know the price of Bugatti, but Tang Yu did. He had heard people talk about this car when he interacted with the other hidden family's heirs. He heard that there were only 3 of them in the world, and each one cost 25 million. It was the most expensive car in the world. Mrs. Tang knew about this car, purely by chance. She heard the grandson and classmate of the old lady who sold watermelons downstairs talking about cars. They talked about this world-class sports car. It was one of the most expensive cars in the world. At first, Mrs. Tang was shocked. A car cost 25 million? So, Mrs. Tang remembered the name. She didn't expect it to come in handy. It seemed that gossiping had its benefits. Otherwise, if she didn't know about this car, she would just randomly mention a Mercedes-Benz or BMW. How could she get so much money? I think the car costs 25 million. I don't know if I can get it, but it doesn't matter. You can give me 50 million. Including the purchase tax and insurance, it should be enough. But just to be safe, you can give me 100 million. Mrs. Tang said. She could tell that eldest brother Tang was trying to please Rock Candy. Rock Candy was his daughter. If he didn't take advantage of her now, when would he? 100 million? Huh. Eldest brother Tang nearly rolled his eyes. Buying a villa last time cost him almost 100 million. Now, she wanted to buy a car for another 100 million? Did she think her house was a bank? Even the landlord didn't have any surplus food. Although his family was a hidden family, their annual income wasn't much. Now, 200 million was gone in an instant. She was spending money like water. Grandpa Tang's eyebrows twitched. Even he had to admit that this woman was ruthless. Target equals _ blank. Chapter 16, 67. Tang Big Bro didn't lose his composure after all. He took a few deep breaths before he said, "Okay, I'll ask someone to transfer 100 million to sister-in-law tomorrow. You can go and book that car." The banquet ended. Mrs. Tang held the keys and bank card in her hands. The more she looked at them, the more she liked them. She was humming happily, looking at her mother. Bing Tang really didn't know what to say. However, she really admired her mother's negotiation skills. In the future, if the Ice Palace wanted to cooperate with others, she would let Mrs. Tang negotiate directly to ensure the greatest benefit. "Sai, you have to take the car and the house. Won't you be causing trouble for Tang Tang when the time comes?" Tang Juqing thought more. "You have taken advantage of them. When the time comes, won't Bing Tang have to pay for it? It's just a small amount of money. It's nothing." Bing Tang was afraid that her father would worry, so she quickly said, "Moreover, the Ice Palace's style of doing things was like this. They didn't force you. If you want to give it, then give it. If you don't want to, then don't. Wasn't the Ice Palace's trial deposit like this?" Bing Tang wouldn't make any promises to the hidden Tang family for 200 million. "You see, since Tang Tang said so, it's definitely fine." Mrs. Tang said, "Tomorrow I'll find an agent to sell this house. After old Master Tang's birthday, we'll leave." "Ah, sell it?" Tang Juqing was even more dumbfounded. "Why does this house still want to be sold?" "If you don't want to sell it, keep it and have children. Who would come here to live for no reason? Do you really think I want to buy a car? Our new house is doing well. Why would we come here?" Mrs. Tang said, "When the time comes, we'll take the money and go back to enjoy life. I'm also a rich woman." Haha. Bing Tang heard her mother's words and couldn't help but laugh. Her mother was really humorous. At the same time, in the room of the hidden Tang family, young Master Yu was lying on the bed. He looked painfully and carefully at Uncle Yu Jintian and Aunt Chu Xiaoxin, who entered the door. "What the hell happened? How did such a big incident happen? Who did you get into a conflict with?" "I just attended a banquet." "How did it become like this when I came back?" Yu family's eldest son, Yu Jintian, was very annoyed. Wasn't his nephew too good at causing trouble? Not only did he cause trouble, but he was also beaten up like this. The hidden Yu family's face was completely lost. "All right, big brother, let's not talk about Xiaohu for now. Let's ask him what's going on first." Yu Xiaoxin waved her hand. She doted on Yu Coiling Tiger, also known as young Master Yu, even more than Yu Jintian's son. This was also the reason why Yu Jintian did not bring his son, but Yu Coiling Tiger this time. However, he didn't expect that this tiger right was simply a troublemaker. As soon as he arrived, he had a conflict with someone. Uncle, Auntie, don't blame me. You have to stand up for me. Yupanhu said with a bitter face. You guys went to eat, and we also wanted to go out for some food, so we went out. At the entrance of a restaurant, I met an acquaintance. Actually, it was a girl I liked, so I went to greet her, but her brother-in-law stopped me. He even said arrogantly that he wanted me to get lost. I thought that I was a member of the Hidden Yu family, and I was here to attend the Hidden Tang family's birthday banquet. I had to keep a low profile and not be too high profile, so I ignored him. In the end, he directly attacked and crippled my nephew's legs. Are you telling the truth? You're not lying? Yu Jintian looked at you, coiling tiger, and asked with a frown. The people around me can testify. Uncle, you can ask them. Although Yu Coiling Tiger's words were somewhat embellished, they were generally correct. It was just that Tang Yin wasn't an acquaintance of his, but no one could testify in this regard. Master, second young Master Yu is right. The situation at the beginning was indeed like this. That person was incomparably arrogant and directly crippled second young Master Yu's legs. The purple hair couldn't stand it anymore and was ready to teach him a lesson. But he didn't expect that he wasn't his opponent. Now, I don't know what happened to the purple hair, but it's like he's possessed and he's not moving at all. Yellow Hair quickly explained. What? The purple hair is an early-stage Earth-class master, and he wasn't his opponent? Yu Jintian was stunned, and the expression on his face changed. That person is also an early-stage Earth-class master, and his martial arts skills seem to be very high, so… Yellow Hair's level was too low, and he couldn't practice martial arts at all, so he didn't know much about martial arts. This wasn't something a golden-class master like him needed to understand. Earth-class master? He's actually an Earth-class master. What's that person's name? Where did he come from? Is he also here to celebrate the Tang family's birthday? Yu Jintian pondered and asked. That person is called Lin Yi, and the girl I know is called Tang Yin. Lin Yi is Tang Yin's brother-in-law. Yu Panhu said, he doesn't seem to be from an aristocratic family. What? Before Yu Jintian could say anything, Yu Xiaoxin exclaimed first. What's wrong, little sister? Do these people have a strong background? Yu Jintian saw his sister's reaction, and his heart sank. If these people really had a strong background, then they might have suffered for nothing. Moreover, it was hard to say whether they would find trouble with him or not. I'm not sure about that Lin Yi, I've never heard of him. But this Tang Yin, she has a strong background. Yu Xiaoxin couldn't help but show a trace of hatred when she mentioned Tang Yin. She's that Xiao Ming's biological daughter. What? Xiao Ming's daughter? Yu Jintian was stunned. Then isn't she the sister of the Ice Palace master? That's her. Yu Xiaoxin said coldly. Back then, I should have just strangled her to death, and there wouldn't have been so much trouble. Luckily, she's Xiao Ming's daughter, so it's not a big problem. The main thing is, who are her sister and brother-in-law? Her brother-in-law is actually an Earth-class master? From what I know, she only grew up in a commoner's family. How could she know a cultivator? That's hard to say, but if it's really like what little tiger said, then we're in the right. The other party attacked first. We have no responsibility for this. Yu Xiaoxin said, moreover, the other party has the support of the Ice Palace. Don't we have the support of the Heavenly Elixir sect? Didn't the envoy from the Heavenly Elixir sect say that he was here to help us? Yu Zhentian nodded after hearing his sister's words. Indeed, if it was really like what Yu Panhu said, then the Yu family couldn't be blamed. It was the other party who didn't give them face, and they were too overbearing. He was the victim. Panhu, are you telling the truth? You're not lying? Yu Jintian asked. Chapter 1668. Very strange, uncle, how could I lie? This is a huge matter, Yu Panhu said quickly. But although our Yu family also has the support of an ancient sect, they won't help us go against the Ice Palace for such a small matter. The other party's background can't be underestimated. Yu Jintian sighed and said, "At most, they won't look for trouble with each other. We can only suffer a loss." When Yu Panhu heard that the other party was related to the Ice Palace, he knew that his uncle wouldn't help him. Even if his family had the support of an ancient sect, like the Heavenly Elixir sect, they wouldn't go against the Ice Palace for such a small matter. That wasn't realistic. But Yu Coiling Tiger wasn't willing to be taken advantage of. Thinking of Tang Yun's beautiful appearance and the powerful background behind her, Yu Coiling Tiger's eyes suddenly turned and a plan came to his mind. "Aunt, Tang Yun and I can be considered old acquaintances. I like her. Do you think it's possible to let Uncle decide and betroth her to me? This way, this can be considered as turning hostility into friendship. Our Yu family won't suffer a loss in face either. It'll become a marriage on top of a family. What happened before will be a complete misunderstanding. How about it?" After Yu Panhu heard about Tang Yun's background, his original plan of playing around was immediately thrown to the back of his head. What he was thinking now was that if he could marry Tang Yun, then he'd be amazing. First, Tang Yun was the sister of the Ice Palace sect master. Second, Tang Yun was his uncle's daughter. This meant that he would have the support of both the Hidden Tang family and the Ice Palace. With such a powerful background, his position in the Hidden Yu family would definitely skyrocket. As for whether Tang Yun had a boyfriend or not, he didn't consider it. He felt that if Tang Yun had a boyfriend, she'd definitely bring him. She wouldn't be with her sister and brother-in-law. That was why he made this request without hesitation. Yu Coiling Tiger's request stunned Yu Jintian and Yu Xiaoxin. Both of them instantly weighed the pros and cons of this matter in their hearts. Of course, letting Boss Tang's daughter marry Yu Panhu was a good thing. This way, the Hidden Yu family and the Hidden Tang family would be more closely connected and strengthen their cooperation. But what Yu Jintian was afraid of was Tang Yun's other background, Rock Candy's sister. This background made him feel that his son's position as the young master of the Hidden Yu family was threatened. If Yu Panhu really married Tang Yun and had the support of the Ice Palace, then what would he do if he wanted to compete for the position of the Hidden Yu family? As for Yu Xiaoxin, she had the same thoughts as Yu Jintian. However, she only thought about the benefits. As for who the young master of the Hidden Yu family was, it had nothing to do with her. After pondering for a long time, Yu Jintian decided to accept Yu Panhu's suggestion. Even if Yu Panhu had the support of the Ice Palace, it would be useless. The Hidden Yu family was a hidden family that mainly focused on alchemy. Their main supporter was the ancient Heaven Elixir sect. They favored his son, Yu Panlong. So with the support of the ancient Heaven Elixir sect, it would be logical for his son to become the next Hidden Yu family's master. Although Yu Panhu's position would increase, he would at most enter the Elders' Council. "Little sister, I think Coiling Tiger's suggestion is not bad. Our Hidden Yu family and the Hidden Tang family are in-laws. Now, if Coiling Tiger marries Tang Yun, it will be a good thing." Yu Jintian made a decision. "I think so too. Then I'll talk to eldest brother Tang about this in the evening and let him announce Xiaohu's marriage at the old master's birthday banquet." Yu Xiaoxi nodded and agreed. "Thank you, uncle and auntie." Yu Panhu was overjoyed. This way he had regained some face. If he married Tang Yun, then everything before was just a misunderstanding. "All right, let me take a look at your leg first." Yu Jintian waved his hand and lowered his head to check on Yu Coiling Tiger's leg. However, after a few glances, he casually gave Yu Coiling Tiger a few massages. Then he took out a bottle of pills and handed it to Yu Coiling Tiger. "The acupuncture points on your leg have been sealed by someone. I've already used massages to remove most of them. You just need to take this tendon relaxing blood activating pill." "Yes, thank you, uncle." Yu Panhu quickly took the elixir that Yu Jintian handed to him and immediately felt his legs regain feeling. After Yu Jintian looked at Yu Panhu, He got up to check on Blue Hair's injury. Blue Hair was an Earth-class master. In the Hidden You family, he was considered a master. It was best not to lose him. Therefore, Yu Jintian didn't care if Blue Hair was Yupanhu's confidant or not. He had to try his best to heal him because he was the head of the Yu family now. He had to consider the overall situation of the entire Yu family. If the Hidden You family and the Hidden Tang family became in-laws, it would undoubtedly mean that the relationship between the two families would take another step forward. In fact, most of the time the marriage between families was for others to see. It didn't matter if they were useful or not. However, in the eyes of outsiders, the two families would naturally increase their strength if they joined forces. Those families who wanted to be enemies with the Hidden You family and the Hidden Tang family had to think carefully. When Yu Jintian placed his hand on Blue Hair's meridians, he was shocked. His head is severely injured. However, after asking this, Yu Jintian shook his head because it was obvious whether Blue Hair's head was injured or not. Blue Hair's injuries were mainly concentrated on his chest. There was no injury on his head at all. However, the results of the examination made Yu Jintian feel strange. Although Blue Hair's chest was injured, a few of his ribs were broken, and some of the meridians in his chest were broken. Overall, it wasn't too difficult to heal. As long as he took a meridian opening pill and appropriate rest, it wouldn't be a problem for him to recover his strength. Although the meridian opening pill was rare and precious, that was for other hidden families. As an alchemy family, the Hidden You family naturally wouldn't be stingy with a meridian opening pill. Yu Jintian had a chance of refining this kind of pill, but the chance was pitifully small. However, the Yu family's old master could refine it, and the success rate was about 50%. For an Earth-class expert like Blue Hair, the Hidden You family still valued him. It wasn't a big deal to give him a meridian opening pill when he was injured. However, the key problem now wasn't the injury on his chest, but his head. Chapter 1668. The head was where the nerves in the brain were concentrated. If the meridians were damaged, how could the nerves not be damaged? So, Yu Jintian was shocked when he saw Blue Hair's silly look. Did this guy really become an idiot? Head? No. His chest was injured by Lin Yi earlier. Just now, Lin Yi used a rising dragon fist on his cheek. Could it be that this move damaged his head? Yu Coiling Tiger was stunned and asked, "Holy Church, that shouldn't be possible." Yu Jintian looked at the injury on Blue Hair's cheek. It wasn't serious at all. It was just an external injury. Even his bones weren't hurt. This punch could be said to have no killing power at all. What rising dragon fist? It wasn't caused by this move. Yu Jintian's eyesight was very accurate. He was also an Earth-class master and one who was proficient in medicine and alchemy. He was even more knowledgeable about external and internal injuries. Lin Yi's punch was really as he said. It didn't have any killing power. Lin Yi was just putting on an act to trick Blue Hair. Both of them were Earth-class early-phase masters and had Gen Qi to protect their bodies. Normal punches and kicks wouldn't be able to do much damage to them. "Oh, right, master." After that, Lin Yi said something about not being able to escape punishment. He touched Blue Hair's head, and then Blue Hair became like this. Yellow Hair suddenly remembered the situation and quickly said, "Could it be that he used some special martial technique with that touch?" Touch? It can destroy the meridians and nerves in the head? Yu Jintian was stunned. He had never heard of anyone who could use a martial technique with just a touch. And under the situation where there was no damage on the outside, destroying the meridians and nerves in the head. Wasn't this a little too magical? So he said, "How is this possible? Blue Hair's head didn't have any external injuries. Could it be the legendary hitting the cow across the mountain?" Yu Xiaoxin was also a knowledgeable person. She suddenly thought of a legendary martial technique. Holy Church, hitting the cow across the mountain? Yu Jintian's expression changed slightly. This was a martial technique of that evil ancient sect, the Everyday and Everyday sect. It was said to be from the legendary Chrysanthemum treasured book, but no one had ever successfully practiced it. Could it be that Lin Yi was from the Everyday and Everyday sect? If that was the case, then there was a huge grudge. Of course, although the Everyday and Everyday sect was an ancient sect, it wasn't much stronger than the Heavenly Elixir sect. In recent years, the Heavenly Elixir sect had developed rapidly, and in front of the Heavenly Elixir sect, the Everyday and Everyday sect had to be courteous. But the key was Lin Yi's identity. Since he knew the technique, he must be a direct disciple who practiced the Chrysanthemum scripture. Would the Heavenly Elixir sect help the Yu family to hide from the core disciple of such a sect? Everyday and the Every sect. The sect. If it was a sect, then what it would be? And the ancient sect, two, and the sect, the ancient sect, the Lin. 1, the ancient sect, 1, 1, 2. Everyday and Everyday sect, Chrysanthemum treasure book. Yu Xiaoxi nodded and said, Yu Xiaoxi nodded. If that's the case, then Lin Yi's background isn't simple. Yu Jintian frowned, but suddenly said, Wait, the disciple from the Everyday and Everyday sect who practiced the Chrysanthemum treasured book also participated in the Ice Palace's trial. He was crippled. This Lin Yi definitely isn't from the Everyday and Everyday sect. Yu Zhentian suddenly thought of the incident that had been spread among the hidden houses. Although the Ice Palace had given a gag order, the disciples of the hidden houses had more or less experienced it themselves. They could hide it from others, but they definitely wouldn't hide it from their own house leader. So this incident still spread out. That's right. I heard he was crippled by a lone cultivator with the surname Ling. Yu Coiling Tiger immediately said, This Lin Yi definitely isn't a disciple from the Everyday and Everyday sect. What kind of existence is the Everyday and Everyday sect? Why would they send a core disciple to celebrate? They have nothing to do with the Hidden Tang family. That's true. The Hidden Tang family has never had any contact with the Everyday and Everyday sect. So it's definitely not their disciple who came to celebrate. Yu Xiaoxi knew a lot, and she was very clear about the relationship network of the Hidden Tang family. Then there's no problem. Yu Jintian breathed a sigh of relief. As long as he didn't offend the disciples of the ancient sects, it doesn't matter. Moreover, we're the ones at a disadvantage this time, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Also, the Sky Elixir Sect's envoy is coming. With the Sky Elixir Sect's envoy supporting us, even the Ice Palace Master will have to give them some face. The next morning, Mrs. Tang received a bank card with 100 million in it. Then, she turned around and went to the villa's sales office to return the villa. According to the agreement, although they would lose some processing fees, it would be easier to get cash this way. This villa was in the best location in the building. The Hidden Tang family had used their connections to get it. The developer wasn't too willing to sell it, but since the Hidden Tang family wanted it, they had no choice but to give it to them. Otherwise, the developer would have wanted to keep the villa for himself. And when Mrs. Tang went to return the villa, it was exactly what the boss wanted. Without a second word, she returned the villa and even waived the processing fees. After all, the boss was also afraid of the Hidden Tang family's influence. How could he dare to charge a processing fee when she wanted to return the villa? However, he didn't know Mrs. Tang. When he returned the villa, he still called the Hidden Tang family's eldest brother Tang and told him about it. When eldest brother Tang heard that Mother Tang had gone to check out of the house early in the morning, he nearly rolled his eyes in anger. However, he maintained his composure and said, "Got it." Then he hurried over to Grandfather Tang to report. Although he was unhappy, he did not dare to stop Mrs. Tang from checking out. All he could do was discuss with Grandfather Tang. After Elder Tang heard about this, he raised his eyebrows but calmly waved his hands. "Forget it. If it's a refund, then so be it." The money was given to the Ice Palace Master's biological mother. Even though the Ice Palace master might not be interested in it, we've already done her a favor. If anything happens in the future, as long as it doesn't harm the Ice Palace's interests, she will definitely help us. I guess that's the only way. Eldest brother Tang nodded helplessly. Isn't this Ice Palace master's mother a little too greedy? Is there anything else? Isn't today the birthday banquet? I heard that the Heavenly Elixir sect has also sent an envoy to congratulate us. Aren't you going to make some preparations? Grandfather Tang asked calmly. This 80th birthday was the most glorious birthday that old Master Tang had ever had. Not only was the Ice Palace master here, even the Heavenly Elixir sect had sent an envoy to congratulate him. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1669. Chapter 1671. A joyous matter, he was only in Earth class. But because of his alchemist status, he didn't think much of Bing Tang. Plus, the Sky Elixir sect was used to being arrogant. So what if they had Sky class masters? If they wanted pills, wouldn't they have to ask Grandpa for help? What is it? I don't understand. Bing Tang frowned and replied faintly. Haha, it seems that the sect master is forgetful. The young headmaster wants you to be his wife. What do you think? The Sky Elixir sect disciple said straightforwardly, the young headmaster has already convinced the elders. With him personally making the pill, the success rate of the Jade Heart pill will greatly increase. Then the sect master will be able to get what you want. Wife? You're a concubine, right? Bing Tang humphed coldly and looked at the Sky Elixir sect disciple. Don't even think about it. Even if I become a concubine, I won't go to the Sky Elixir sect. For some reason, Bing Tang suddenly remembered that she wanted to be Lin Yi's concubine. While she was angry, she wasn't disgusted by it. It was completely different from how she felt about the young headmaster of the Sky Elixir sect. Since the sect leader doesn't want to give me face, then I can only reply to the young sect leader this way. However, as for the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill, let me give the sect leader a piece of advice. Without the Sky Elixir sect's help, you're still dreaming. The messenger of the Heavenly Elixir sect was a little annoyed. Before he left, the young sect master told him to try his best to complete the task, but he didn't expect Bing Tang to be so tight-lipped. She didn't have the slightest intention of letting go, so he had no way to persuade her. He had prepared for so long, but before he could do anything, he was blocked. How could he not be angry? And so the Sky Elixir sect's emissary began to hate the sect mistress. Thinking back to what the young sect leader had said, if the sect mistress didn't give him face, then he would use this opportunity to teach her a lesson and let her know that the Sky Elixir sect was no longer the Sky Elixir sect it used to be. They were on the same level as the Ice Palace and the Everyday sect. The sect master frowned. If anyone else dared to talk to her like this, she would have taken their life a long time ago. But this was the envoy from the Sky Elixir sect, and she felt a little helpless. She really couldn't do anything to him. The Sky Elixir sect had been developing rapidly in the past few years, and they had formed alliances with many ancient houses and sections. They were not to be underestimated. Although the Ice Palace was powerful, they couldn't afford to offend the Heavenly Elixir sect at this time. Therefore, the sect master could only wave her hand, and a wave of chi slashed across the face of the Sky Elixir sect's emissary. It was like an invisible slap to the face, and the Sky Elixir sect's emissary's face burned with pain. The sect master couldn't kill him on the spot, but she could punish him. He was just an emissary from the Sky Elixir sect, and not the young sect leader. There was no need for the sect master to give him face. As long as she didn't kill him, the Sky Elixir sect could only take this. And as expected, the Sky Elixir sect's emissary almost fell off the table. Even if the sect master didn't mean to slap him to death, how could an Earth class handle the power of a Sky class? The Sky Elixir sect's emissary's face began to swell up. He glared at the sect master with hatred and anger, but didn't dare do anything. He wasn't an idiot. No one had seen the sect master slap him. She was a sky-class master, and he could only take it in silence. But if he stood up to cause trouble for the sect master, then he'd be causing trouble in front of everyone. If he really did get beaten up or even crippled, there'd be no way for him to explain himself. Therefore, he could only secretly circulate his true chi to relieve the pain on his face. Then he took out a bottle of pills from his bosom and took one to reduce swelling and pain. Otherwise, if the dignified messenger of the heavenly elixir sect were to be slapped in the face by others, they would definitely laugh at him. The sky elixir sect's emissary took a deep breath, thinking, "Rock candy, you're good. Just you wait, I won't let you go so easily." The birthday banquet also began at this time. After eldest brother Tang spoke a lot of words of gratitude, he announced the start of the birthday banquet. The guests presented their gifts, which was very similar to the Kong family's birthday banquet. The various relatives of the Tang family sent representatives to send gifts in order. The gifts ranged from antiques to calligraphy and paintings. Of course, the most popular gifts were elixirs and elixirs. In the blink of an eye, it was the Hidden Yu family's turn to send gifts. The Yu family's representative was Yu Coiling Tiger. With Yu Jintian's status, he naturally couldn't go on stage and present his gifts. So Yu Coiling Tiger did it for him. "Uncle, I represent the Hidden Yu family to congratulate you on your birthday. This is our Hidden Yu family's gift list. 15 spirit gathering pills, 3 foundation establishment pills, 5 meridian unblocking pills, 5 small chi gathering pills." Yu Coiling Tiger reported the names of a bunch of pills. Of course, some of these pills were refined with the help of the Heavenly Elixir sect. For example, the small chi gathering pill was a yellow level 2 pill. The Hidden Yu family had a very high failure rate. The lesser chi gathering pill was a lower level version of the chi gathering pill. But according to what Zhang Liju said, the original chi gathering pill was already a simplified version. It was actually a lesser chi gathering pill, but the lesser chi gathering pill he was referring to now was even lower leveled. It only had the effect of increasing chi. It didn't have the effect of breaking through bottlenecks, and so this thing only increased chi a little more than the chi gathering pill. But even so, in the Hidden House's level, it was still a precious pill. Good. That's great. Eldest Tang heard the names of the pills and was overjoyed. "Good nephew, wait here for a while. I have a big announcement to make while we're happy." "Yes, uncle." Yu Coiling Tiger seemed to have realized something. A trace of joy flashed through his eyes as he looked towards Tang Yan's table not far away. It was obvious that Aunt's words yesterday had worked, and Uncle's side had made the decision to betroth Tang Yin to him. "Today is my father's 80th birthday, and I have something to celebrate as well. My long-lost daughter has finally been found. My third wife, Xiaoming's daughter, was lost by an unscrupulous servant. It's been so many years, and I miss her all the time." Eldest Tang didn't even blush when he lied. Lin really wanted to throw a wine bottle at him, but Eldest Tang continued, "Xiaoming, Tang Yin, come up. # target equals _blank. Chapter 1670. Although it was more or less to support the Hidden House Yu, and it was also because of the ice palace that they sent the messenger. But no matter what, the main character of this banquet was Elder Tang, so he was still very happy. "It's ready." "Oh, right. Xiaoxin told me yesterday that she wanted me to marry her daughter to the Yu family's Yupan Hu. What do you think?" Last night, Yu Xiaoxin said that she wanted to marry Tang Yin to Yupan Hu. Originally, Elder Tang didn't want to acknowledge Tang Yin as his daughter. Even if he did, he couldn't bring her back to the Tang family, mainly because of Yu Xiaoxin. Now that he couldn't rely on the ice palace, he had to rely on the Yu family's support to stabilize his position as the head of the hidden Tang family. However, he didn't expect that Yu Xiaoxin would take the initiative to bring this daughter back to the Tang family and marry her to the Hidden Yu family's second young master. Upon who? Tang Big Bro was surprised, but he was also secretly calculating in his heart. This deal was quite a good deal after he thought about it. His cheap daughter was directly married to the Hidden Yu family's second young master, Upon who. Although he wasn't a direct descendant, this was already very good. Yu Jintian's son wouldn't marry Tang Yin with an unknown identity. So, Elder Tang only thought for a moment before agreeing. He thought that Xiao Ming wouldn't have any objections. She should be very happy to let her daughter return to the Tang family. Tang Yin, a commoner who grew up among the common people, suddenly married the Hidden Yu family's second young master. It was like a pheasant becoming a phoenix. She was really lucky. However, this matter didn't count even if Elder Tang agreed. He needed Elder Tang's approval. Although Elder Tang was the head of the family, this kind of big matter still needed Elder Tang's approval. He didn't dare to make the decision on his own. Oh, your daughter? You mean Xiao Ming's daughter? Old Master Tang was slightly surprised. Then he asked in astonishment, "Didn't you always say that you don't want to acknowledge her? You were afraid that Xiaoxin would have objections. Why did Xiaoxin bring this up?" "I heard that right coiling tiger knew Tang Yin when she was in Songshan City, and he expressed his love for her. So this time he wanted me to marry Tang Yin to his beloved nephew, so he told me. I think this is good for our family. But I still want to ask for your opinion." "Father," eldest Tang said, "just like you said, this is a good thing. This way, it can be considered that we have found a good husband for Xiao Ming, the second young master of the Hidden Yu family. I heard that his alchemy skills aren't bad either. If he has some ability, that child won't be at a disadvantage if she marries him." Elder Tang nodded in agreement. These people took it for granted that Tang Yin would agree, and they didn't even ask for Tang Yin's opinion. As far as they were concerned, Tang Yin was a chicken turning into a phoenix, and they couldn't be happier. From Mrs. Tang's skills, it could be seen that her family's living conditions were just SOSO. Being able to marry into the Hidden Yu family was a great thing. Lin Yi brought Xiao Xiao and Tang Yin to the banquet hall when it was about to start. Lin Yi didn't have a good impression of the Hidden Tang family, so he found a random seat and sat down. Naturally, Elder Tang and Bing Tang hadn't appeared yet. These important guests wouldn't show up until a few minutes before the banquet started. This old Tang really knows how to put on airs. What's he doing? I'm starving to death, and he's not going to serve the food, Xiao Xiao said with a bitter face. She didn't have any intention of participating in a celebratory event like this, looking for good food the moment she arrived. Xiao Xiao's words drew the angry glares of a few Tang disciples, but those who knew Xiao Xiao's identity quickly stopped them. "That's the Ice Palace Master's junior sister. If you don't want to die, then go." And so the Tang disciple stopped. The Ice Palace Master's junior sister. Wasn't that the future Ice Palace Master? Who would dare mess with someone like that? Sure enough, the birthday banquet was scheduled to start at 9 p.m. At 8:50 p.m., Grandfather Tang, surrounded by eldest Tang, second Tang, and the others, walked up to the main seat. After Grandfather Tang was seated, eldest Tang walked up to the stage at the front of the banquet hall. Unlike the others, he did not pick up the microphone. Instead, he spoke in a loud and clear voice. "Welcome, all guests and members of the Tang family, to Father's 80th birthday." Boss Tang was a practitioner, and his voice was loud even without a microphone. The crowd started clapping as soon as he finished speaking. Of course, those clapping were the boot-licking disciples of House Tang. Lin Yi, Xiao Xiao, and Tang Yin didn't care at all. Today is Father's 80th birthday. We are fortunate to have several honored guests here, which brings light to our humble home. Next, let us invite the Palace Master of the Ice Palace and the emissary of the Heavenly Elixir School. Eldest Brother Tang said as he made an inviting gesture. There was another round of applause. Those who could attend the birthday banquet this time were all close relatives and members of the hidden Tang family. There was no one like Tang Yun's family. These people relied on Tang family to survive, so the sect leader of the Ice Palace and the Sky Elixir School's representative were here. How honorable was that? These guests also felt very honored. Normally, when the old patriarch of a hidden house celebrated his birthday, even the patriarchs of other hidden houses would be honored, not to mention ancient people coming to congratulate him. But for the hidden Tang family to do this, it was a huge honor. It was one of a kind. Rock Candy floated over, but she didn't go up on stage to say anything. Instead, she sat down beside Elder Tang, while little Qing brought Xiao Ming, Mother Tang, and Tang Juqing to sit beside her. The Sky Elixir Sect's envoy was a young man in his 30s, with an aquiline nose and sharp eyes. His face was a bit feminine, but he was very arrogant, as if he could sit on the same level as Bingtang. After coming in, he sat down at the head table. He wasn't the young master of the Sky Elixir Sect, but he was still the disciple of the sect's headmaster, and he could be considered the junior brother of the young master. Naturally, he had the right to be arrogant. Plus, he was already a golden level 2 refiner, which was very rare at his age. He didn't use the face-preserving pill, and he really was only in his 30s. He had 2 goals for coming here this time. One was to support the Hidden House U, and the other was to send a message to Bingtang on behalf of the young master, asking her if she still wanted the Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill. Chapter 1671. Xiao Ming didn't know what to do. She obviously didn't know about this arrangement beforehand. So after listening to Boss Tang's words, she couldn't help but turn to look at Bingtang. Bingtang also frowned, thinking that this Boss Tang was really good at putting on a show. But at this time, she couldn't say anything. It was better to listen to her auntie, so she said, "Auntie, you decide. Then, I'll go up. After all, it's the old man's big day. It won't be good if I don't go." Xiao Ming was a kind person. Although she had already decided to leave the hidden Tang family on this happy day, she still didn't want the Tang family to lose face. She decided to mention this matter later. Bingtang didn't say anything. This was her auntie's decision. She couldn't interfere. Xiao Ming went up on stage. Tang Yin didn't want to go up at first. She didn't have a good impression of this father who abandoned her. In her heart, she had never acknowledged Boss Tang as her father. Although she recognized Xiao Ming as her mother, as a father, she only saw Tang Juqing as her father. At this time, Xiao Ming went up. Tang Yin was in a difficult position. Her mother had already gone up. If she didn't go, wouldn't it make her mother lose face? She didn't care if Boss Tang lost face or not. But she couldn't let her birth mother down, right? Thinking of this, Tang Yin looked at Lin Yi in a difficult position. She didn't know if she should go up or not. Lin Yi. Tang Yin was very nervous and didn't know what to do. "It's okay, I'll go up with you." Lin Yi smiled faintly and said, "Let's use this chance to tell him that you have nothing to do with him. You and your mother, and Xiao Ming, are moving back to Songshan. They're hiding in House Tang, and we're not worthy of them. This isn't too good." Tang Yin heard Lin Yi's words and couldn't help but be stunned. Saying this on this occasion, wasn't it the same as slapping the hidden Tang family's face? However, Lin Yi didn't say anything and already stood up. Tang Yin had no choice but to follow behind Lin Yi. When everyone saw Lin Yi also stand up and walk towards the stage, they suddenly felt a little strange. They didn't know where he came from. Eldest brother Tang also frowned. He didn't know Lin Yi. This was the first time Lin Yi appeared in the hidden Tang family. However, Boss Tang couldn't reprimand Lin Yi in front of everyone. He could only watch as Lin Yi and Tang Yin walked over together. He could only ignore Lin Yi and wave to Tang Yin. "Tang Yin, my daughter, I finally get to see you. I missed you so much. Fortunately, the heavens have eyes and let me find you." Tang Yin's eyes widened. She didn't think that her father would lie to her face, and so smoothly too. She didn't know what to say. "Haha, daughter. Today is your grandfather's birthday. However, I still have something important to announce. Eldest brother Tang said, "The Hidden Yu family's second son, Yu Coiling Tiger, is a talented man and has reached the age to start a family. It is said that you and he have known each other for a long time. Their relationship is not bad. This time, I will make the decision and betroth you to him." Tang Yin was even more stunned on the spot. Originally, this father who was full of lies already made her at a loss. Suddenly, he gave her a marriage betrothal. She didn't know what to say. "Thank you, uncle." However, before Tang Yun could speak, Yu Coiling Tiger took a step forward and stood in front of eldest brother Tang. He cupped his fists and thanked him. We're getting closer now. What's there to thank? Eldest brother Tang laughed and said. Xiao Ming was also a little confused at this moment. What was going on? Eldest brother Tang didn't tell her before. It was normal for them to recognize each other, but she didn't know that Tang Yin was going to be betrothed to the Hidden Yu family's Yu Coiling Tiger. Are the two of you retarded? Who are you to Tang Yin? Betroth her? I think you should betroth yourself to him as a gay friend. Just when Yu Coiling Tiger and eldest brother Tang were in high spirits, a cold voice sounded. Lin Yi pulled Tang Yin's hand and looked at eldest brother Tang as if he was looking at a crazy person. Kid, who are you? Did you deliberately come to make trouble? Eldest brother Tang was slightly stunned. Although he felt that Lin Yi suddenly stood up and walked over, he didn't put him in his eyes. But now he absolutely didn't expect that Lin Yi would dare to say such words in public, making eldest brother Tang embarrassed. This time, eldest brother Tang lost a lot of face. The guests in the audience were also in an uproar. They didn't know what happened. You came to the birthday banquet. By the way, let me tell you, Tang Yin has nothing to do with your hidden Tang family. Don't stick gold on your face. You are not worthy to be Tang Yin's father, Lin Yi said faintly. Moreover, Aunt Xiaoming will leave with us. From now on, she will have nothing to do with the Tang family. You. Eldest brother Tang's face turned red from Lin Yi's words. He had never been so embarrassed before. Just now he was excited to recognize his family, but now it seemed that they didn't want to recognize him at all. In eldest brother Tang's opinion, if the hidden Tang family recognized him, it would be a glorious thing. Even if Tang Yan's sister was rock candy, she came from a poor family. Looking at Tang Yan's mother's face, he could see how greedy and vain their family was. But what eldest brother Tang didn't expect was that Lin Yi actually interfered. He didn't want Tang Yin to recognize him at all. Uncle, this kid is the villain who hurt people yesterday. His name is Lin Yi. Not only did he hurt my nephew for no reason, but he also beat the Hidden Yu family's master, Blue Hair, into a vegetable. Although Coiling Tiger Right didn't expect Lin Yi to reject eldest brother Tang's proposal, he wasn't worried at all. If Lin Yi spoke nicely and let Tang Yin beg eldest brother Tang not to grant the marriage, then with Rock Candy's face, eldest brother Tang might not be able to force anything. But Lin Yi directly rejected eldest brother Tang's proposal. This was equivalent to slapping him in the face. Even if Tang Yin had a sister who was the Ice Palace Master, Tang Yin was still eldest brother Tang's daughter. How could eldest brother Tang tolerate this? If he did, then the hidden Tang family's face would be completely lost. So, Coiling Tiger Right was overjoyed. Kid, I'll let you be cocky. Aren't you awesome? Chapter 1672. It could be said that the two sides were evenly matched, but the problem was which side the Hidden House Tang would side with. Boss Tang had been forced into a dead end, and he could either compromise with the Ice Palace, or he could rely on the Hidden House Yu to get the support of the Sky Elixir sect. Chapter 1673. School Beauty's personal expert. So it's a troublemaker. Boss Tang smiled coldly, pretending that he didn't know who Lin Yi was. You're not welcome here. I'm talking to Tang Yin about the Hidden House Tang's business. You're an outsider, so please don't get involved. Boss Tang saw Coiling Tiger jump out and knew that this wasn't good. He seemed to have seen through Coiling Tiger's thoughts, but he didn't want to offend the sect master that he'd worked so hard to get on his side. All he could do was yell at Lin Yi. Outsider? You're the outsider, aren't you? Lin Yi said faintly. Tang Yin has never acknowledged you as her father. We're here to tell you that we're taking Aunt Ming away. That's all. Who are you to Tang Yin? Why are you saying this? Boss Tang suddenly saw Lin Yi holding Tang Yin's hand, and he immediately understood. There must be something going on between the two of them. No wonder he was in such a hurry to get involved. But if Boss Tang remembered correctly, Lin Yi was Xiao Xiao's boyfriend. He was Bingtang's junior sister husband. What kind of existence was Xiao Xiao? The next master of the Ice Palace, her man, was cheating on her? And so, Boss Tang decided to do this. After all, he never would have thought that the future Ice Palace master would agree to her man cheating on her. And to Bingtang's sister no less. Kid, you look pretty close to Tang Yin, don't you? Aren't you Miss Feng, Xiao Xiao's boyfriend? I'd advise you to mind your own business. Don't cause a family conflict. Right Coiling Tiger saw Lin Yi holding Tang Yin's hand. This was purposely said for Xiao Xiao and Bingtang to hear. He wanted to sow discord between Lin Yi, Rock Candy, and Xiao Xiao, isolating Lin Yi. Tang Yin has always been my girlfriend. Lin Yi glanced at Tiger Yu and said indifferently, Is there a problem? While Lin Yi was speaking, his body didn't stop for even a moment. He was constantly condensing true chi bombs. It had to be known that the Tang family's patriarch was a heaven stage expert. Although he was only at the early stage of heaven stage, it would still be enough to make Lin Yi suffer. Thus, Lin Yi had to have a way to protect himself. If he couldn't hold on any longer, he could just throw a bomb at Elder Tang. Regardless of whether he could kill Elder Tang or not, it would still be a form of deterrence. Quack! Boss Tang was stunned, and so was Right Coiling Tiger. They never would have thought that Lin Yi would say something like that. Boss Tang had been scheming to remove Lin Yi from this matter. He didn't want him to get involved in House Tang's internal affairs. However, Lin Yi directly said that Tang Yin was his girlfriend. This way, Tang Yin's matters could naturally be handled by him. After a short moment of surprise, Right Coiling Tiger wasn't too angry. He looked at Xiao Xiao mockingly before turning to Lin Yi. No way? Did I hear it wrong? Aren't you the Ice Palace master's boyfriend? Did you fall in love with someone else? Or did you cheat on her? Although he was trying to pick a fight, the hatred between Tiger Yu and Lin Yi couldn't be resolved. He wanted to blow things up, and so he purposely pushed Xiao Xiao and Bingtang to see how they would react. Both of them, can't I? Lin Yi looked at Tiger right as if he was looking at an idiot. With your IQ, you don't even need to think about it. You might as well stay with that blue-haired guy. Being an idiot isn't a bad idea. You. Right Coiling Tiger jumped, startled by Lin Yi's words. He subconsciously took 2 steps back, wanting to get away from Lin Yi, but he didn't expect that he'd fall right off the edge of the stage, landing on his butt. He was a practitioner, but it still hurt a lot when he didn't have his guard up. He grimaced in pain, getting up after a while. The guests couldn't help but laugh at Tiger Yu's action. Boss Tang frowned, cursing his nephew for being an idiot. He had the upper hand, but now that he fell, everyone's eyes were on him, and the pressure on the Ice Palace Master and Xiao Xiao's side was a lot lighter. Both of them. Do you think we'll believe you? Think about Miss Xiao Xiao's identity. How could the future Ice Palace Master share a man with another woman? Your joke isn't funny at all. Boss Tang brought the topic back. Forget it if you don't believe me. Is there something wrong with you, you old thing? I'm the small wife, and Tang Yin Sis is the big wife. What's there to not understand? You've married so many wives, and you'll understand? Xiao Xiao couldn't take it anymore and stood up. Wah. Boss Tang's eyes widened as he looked at Xiao Xiao standing up. As far as he was concerned, Xiao Xiao was definitely going to stand up and say something, but it was probably to pull Linny back in a fit of rage so he wouldn't embarrass himself. Not to support Linny. Boss Tang never would have guessed that Xiao Xiao, the next Ice Palace Master, would be Lin Yi's small wife. What kind of logic was this? Ice Palace Master, it seems like your Ice Palace people have no rules? This is Hidden House Tang's business, after all, and we ancient sects and noble houses respect tradition the most. That's what they say, it's the parents' decision, the matchmaker's decision. Who Tang Yun's parents want to marry her off to is her parents' business. What's wrong with your people? The one who spoke was the Sky Elixir Sect's representative. He'd been holding his anger for a long time, and now that he had the chance, he stood up and spoke in a neutral tone. You're right, this is our sect's business. What does it have to do with you? Who do you think you are? Xiao Xiao stood up and glared at him. What's wrong with your Sky Elixir Sect interfering? The Sky Elixir Sect representative was about to explode after hearing Xiao Xiao's words. He didn't dare say anything after getting slapped by Bingtang. But he wasn't afraid of Xiao Xiao at all. Xiao Xiao was the next Ice Palace Master, but she wasn't yet, was she? Chapter 16, 73. The most important thing was that Xiao Xiao was only a golden class, while the Sky Elixir representative was an Earth class mid-phase. Although he specialized in elixir making, an Earth class couldn't even beat a golden class early phase. He'd be better off dead. Chapter 1674. The School Beauty's personal expert. And so, the Sky Elixir emissary was pissed off. He moved and reached out to grab Xiao Xiao, wanting to teach her a lesson. Xiao Xiao, watch out! The energy ball Lin he had prepared was for Elder Tang, so he didn't expect the idiot from the Sky Elixir to make the first move. Lin he had no more moves left, so he grabbed the energy ball and prepared to blow it up at the Sky Elixir representative. But Lin he didn't want to reveal his trump card too early. Only the Sky class girl knew about the theory behind the energy bomb, so Lin he could use it against Elder Tang. But a trump card was called a trump card because no one else knew about it. If everyone knew about it, then what kind of trump card would it be? Raging Flames. The martial skill used by the Heavenly Elixir Sect's emissary was related to the pill fire. This was also the martial skill that most of the alchemists in the Heavenly Elixir Sect cultivated, using the pill fire as an offensive weapon and martial skill. There was no need to waste time cultivating other martial skills. Raging Flames was a beginner-level technique for refiners, using qi to activate the refinement fire in the body to injure the enemy. But the strength of this technique depended on the refiner's level and the element of the refinement fire they practiced. This Raging Flames was the most basic technique of the refinement fire element. It wasn't strong, but it was still an Earth-class technique. It was a piece of cake for it to injure a golden class early phase master like Xiao Xiao. But before Lin he could make a move, Bingtang made the first move. As a heaven stage expert, how could she watch an Earth stage expert attack her own junior sister without noticing? What? Do you want to fight? Rock Candy casually waved her hand, and the fiery dragon-like flame immediately froze into ice cubes and fell to the ground, shattering into pieces. Because the fire was frozen in an instant, it was sealed in ice, like an ice lantern, leaving an afterimage in people's eyes before the fire was extinguished. Humph. Seeing that Bingtang made a move, the Sky Elixir representative knew that he wouldn't get anything out of this. I was just warning her. Don't meddle in other people's business. Having said that, the Heavenly Elixir Sect's envoy seemed to deliberately find fault. He jumped on the high platform and then said to eldest brother Tang, "Today, my Heavenly Elixir Sect is here to be a witness. Eldest brother Tang's daughter is going to marry Yu Panhu of the Yu family. If anyone disagrees, then they're going against the Sky Elixir." The purpose of the Heavenly Elixir Sect's visit this time was to support the hidden Yu family. If they showed weakness now, not only would the Heavenly Elixir Sect lose face, but the hidden Yu family wouldn't be able to help the Heavenly Elixir Sect anymore. May I ask, how many daughters does that boss Tang have? Lin Yi suddenly interrupted. Of course there's only one. Tang Yin, who we just lost. The Sky Elixir Sect representative said, looking at Lin Yi provocatively. He'd been taken advantage of by Bingtang, and now he wanted to get back at Lin Yi. Kid, you better know your place. You're just the boyfriend of the Ice Palace Sect Master's junior sister. We, the Sky Elixir Sect, don't even put the Ice Palace in our eyes, let alone a relative like you. I'm an alchemist. Don't get yourself into trouble. The Sky Elixir representative's words were pretentious, but it was true. With the Sky Elixir Sect status, there was no need to fear the Ice Palace. This was also the reason why the young master of the Sky Elixir Sect dared to let Bingtang be his concubine. It was precisely because the alchemist status was so respected that the Sky Elixir Sect had the capital to be arrogant. Oh, are you done? Lin Yi asked. I'm done, but kid. Before the Sky Elixir representative could finish his sentence, he was interrupted by Lin Yi. Since you're done, then go F***CK yourself. Lin Yi threw a Zhenqi bomb at the Sky Elixir representative. But this Zhenqi bomb contained a layer of water alchemy fire, which looked like the raging flames technique that the Sky Elixir representative had just used. However, Lin Yi had replaced the fire alchemy fire with the rarer water alchemy fire. This alchemy fire was just a cover. The real power was from the energy bomb that Lin Yi had thrown out. However, the time was short, and the energy that Lin Yi had condensed was limited, so he couldn't cause too much damage to the Sky Elixir representative. However, Lin Yi didn't intend to kill the Sky Elixir representative on the spot. Lin Yi wasn't an idiot. Even the heaven-ranked girl didn't dare to kill him on the spot. So with Lin Yi's background, wouldn't killing the Sky Elixir representative be suicide? However, even if he couldn't kill him, it was necessary to teach him a lesson. Lin Yi's use of the Raging Flames technique was also to build up his background. There were many different versions of Lin Yi's background, saying that Lin Yi was a disciple of some big house or a big sect, and that he was a disciple of some big sect. However, whether it was true or not, Lin Yi knew best. Lin Yi was completely from a grassroots background, so how could he have a big force behind him? So the more tricks Lin Yi had up his sleeves, the more these ancient sects and hidden houses would be afraid of him. This also gave Lin Yi time to catch his breath, and by the time they could catch their breath, Lin Yi would be ready. Boom! The Heavenly Elixir Sect's emissary was sent flying by Lin Yi's attack. He landed on the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. The clothes on his upper body were all burned by Lin Yi's alchemic fire. His upper body was charred black, and he looked a little pathetic. Of course, this was just a look of embarrassment, but in reality, he didn't suffer any serious injuries. This was Lin Yi's perfect timing. The Sky Elixir Sect, the Hidden Yu family, and the Hidden Tang family were already enemies. Although they couldn't coexist, the Sky Elixir Sect wouldn't act rashly because of the Ice Palace behind Lin Yi. Lin Yi could also see that the Sky Elixir Sect's current strength wasn't enough to swallow the Ice Palace. Therefore, as long as Lin Yi didn't kill the Sky Elixir representative, the Sky Elixir Sect wouldn't come looking for trouble with Lin Yi. Now that the enmity was already set, Lin Yi, of course, had to teach the Sky Elixir representative a lesson. Chapter 1674. The guests, the Hidden Tang family, and the people from the Hidden House of Tang and the Hidden House of Yu, who were originally suspicious of Lin Yi's martial skill, suddenly understood after hearing Lin Yi's words. So Lin Yi was also an alchemist? No wonder it's also a pill master's martial technique, the school belle's personal expert butt. Lin Yi's move made everyone go into an uproar. Lin Yi dared to attack the Sky Elixir Sect's representative. This was a slap to the face. At this moment, even Crystal Candy admired Lin Yi a little. This guy was really a hero who was angry for beauty. Thinking back to when she took Xiao Xiao away, didn't Lin Yi explode in anger and fight her to the death? The Ice Palace emissaries' move had probably crossed Lin Yi's bottom line, and while he'd blocked it, Lin Yi had remembered it in his heart. Wasn't this revenge coming soon? However, Lin Yi's method of revenge surprised even Bingtang. Bingtang knew Lin Yi's trump card, and she also knew Lin Yi's identity as an alchemist. So his method wasn't a secret in Bingtang's eyes, but in other people's eyes it became a real alchemist's technique. This way, it didn't matter if it was the Hidden House Tang, the Hidden House Yu, or the Sky Elixir sect, they'd all be speculating about Lin Yi's background. An Earth-class refiner, the man of the future sect master of the Ice Palace. Even the future sect master of the Ice Palace was willing to be a small wife. Bingtang shook her head. This Lin Yi really knew how to create fame. What identity did he have? If he did, he wouldn't have begged her in front of the Ice Palace for half a month without eating or drinking. Why, yeah. The emissary of the Heavenly Elixir sect climbed up from the ground, fuming with anger. As an alchemist, he had a high status. Not to mention outside, even in the Heavenly Elixir sect, no one dared to treat him like this. When had he ever been treated like this? Boss Tang was also glaring at Lin Yi angrily. It was supposed to be a good birthday banquet, but because of Lin Yi's interference, Boss Tang didn't dare to make a move. If Lin Yi dared to beat up the messenger of Heavenly Elixir sect, then what was Boss Tang? Plus, if he was going to make a move, would the sect master do it? Would Little Qing do it? Not to mention that Little Qing was a Sky-class mid-phase. Even if it was just Bingtang, he, Elder Tang, and the Sky Elixir representative wouldn't be her match. Little Ming, look at your child. She can't grow up in the countryside. Tell her that if she still wants to recognize us as her parents and the Tang family, she should listen to me and agree to the marriage with the Yu family. Then let's forget about the previous unhappiness. Boss Tang wanted to say some harsh words against Lin Yi, but after thinking about it, he didn't say it. Who knew if this guy would suddenly make trouble again? Plus, what made Boss Tang confused was that Lin Yi seemed to have a strong background. Even Bingtang didn't dare to go against the Sky Elixir representative, but Lin Yi dared to directly injure him. Who did he borrow power from? Boss Tang didn't believe that he borrowed power from the Ice Palace. This Lin Yi wasn't stupid, and it wasn't that he couldn't see the situation clearly. If he dared to cause trouble at this time, then he obviously had something to rely on. However, before Little Ming could say anything, the Sky Elixir representative spoke first. Boss Tang, give me a straightforward answer today. If he dies, then I die. Either you kick him out, or I'll leave. The Sky Elixir representative suffered a big loss today, but it was impossible for him to get back with his own ability. So he could only use Boss Tang's identity as the host to kick Lin Yi out. That way, he could still get back some face. Lin Yi, I don't care who you are, but this is our Tang family's business. Please leave immediately. Boss Tang said to Lin Yi with a gloomy face. What, Boss Tang, you don't welcome our guest? Bingtang asked coldly. Things had gotten to this point, which was beyond the Ice Palace's expectations. The relationship between the Ice Palace and the Tang family had come to an end. Bingtang didn't know what was wrong with Boss Tang's brain. He made a decision on his own to grant a marriage. Was he crazy? Boss Tang didn't dare to disobey the Sky Elixir representative and wanted Lin Yi to leave, but he definitely didn't want the Ice Palace to leave with him. Boss Tang, the Sky Elixir sect, and the Ice Palace are irreconcilable. Should I leave or should they leave? You make the decision, the Sky Elixir representative said darkly. Tang Yin, I'll ask you again. Do you still recognize this Tang family? Boss Tang felt sad. If he knew this would happen, he would have agreed to the marriage. Now that things had turned out like this, he could only give up one of them. After weighing the pros and cons, Boss Tang decided to choose the Sky Elixir sect and the Hidden Yu family. After all, the Hidden Yu family was his wife's family, and the Sky Elixir sect was the Hidden Yu family's backer. If he chose the Ice Palace, not only would he offend the Sky Elixir sect, but he would also lose the Hidden Yu family support. The Ice Palace's support wouldn't be important anymore. Moreover, the Ice Palace didn't have a good impression of the Hidden Tang family, so at this time he had to give it up. Recognize the Tang family? We didn't recognize them at all. As for Auntie Xiaoming, we will take her away. Lin Yi looked at Boss Tang and said word by word. Good, very good. Tang Yin, Xiaoming, once you leave this house, you will have nothing to do with the Hidden Tang family. You don't need to come back anymore. I don't have a daughter like you, and I don't have a wife like you. Boss Tang pretended to be regretful. You're on your own. In your heart, you've always thought so, right? If you have no value, then you can leave, right? Lin Yi looked at Boss Tang mockingly. We can leave, and we can leave now, but let me give you a piece of advice. If you beg Tang Yin to forgive you for what you did in the past, maybe Tang Yin will still recognize you as her father, and when you're in trouble in the future, she might even help you. However, I'm a person who can be persuaded, but not cowed. The more you act like this, the better. In the future, we don't owe each other anything. Boss Tang will meet again. Huh. I'll beg for her forgiveness? Let her help me when I'm in trouble? What a joke. Haha. Eldest brother Tang suddenly burst into laughter. Are you dreaming? Ah. Lin Yi smiled. You can also think of it as a dream. All right, that's all I have to say. Grandpa Tang, I wish you a happy birthday, and I hope you can celebrate your birthday next year. After Lin Yi finished, he took Tang Yan's hand and strode towards the entrance of the banquet hall. No one dared to stop them. Chapter 16, 75. Now, it was just a break in contact with the Ice Palace. With the Ice Palace's status, they naturally wouldn't settle scores with a lower-level family like the Hidden Tang family. No pop-up window chias for the fight between the Ice Palace and the Heavenly Elixir sect. It had nothing to do with the Hidden Tang family. Lin Yi had successfully created and borrowed power. If it wasn't for his unpredictable martial skills and the heaven-class girl sitting here, Lin Yi probably wouldn't have been able to leave the Tang family today. But now, not only did he leave, he even stepped on Big Brother Tang a few times. However, Lin Yi wasn't very happy. Instead, he had a deep desire for power. If he was a heaven-class expert today, he wouldn't have hesitated to kill the Heavenly Elixir sect's envoy instead of just teaching him a lesson. Rock Candy, Little Qing, Father and Mother Tang, and Xiaoming also walked towards the entrance of the banquet hall. The Hidden Tang family was supposed to be celebrating, but because of Lin Yi, everyone lost all interest. Old Man Tang sighed slightly. A man who is never content is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. If he had known this would happen, he wouldn't have been in such a hurry to get close to the Ice Palace. Then, he wouldn't have offended the Ice Palace for no reason. Although Lin Yi and the others had left, after such a ruckus, the birthday banquet couldn't continue. Many of the necessary steps were skipped, and the banquet ended in a hurry. During the banquet, it didn't feel like a birthday banquet, but a funeral banquet. No one dared to speak. They all had gloomy faces as they lowered their heads and ate. As for the Heavenly Elixir sect's envoy, he also left after Lin Yi and the others had left. Although the Tang family chose the Heavenly Elixir sect and chased Lin Yi and the others away, the envoy didn't feel like he had won at all. At the end of the birthday banquet, Grandfather Tang whispered a few instructions to Eldest Tang. Eldest Tang walked up to the stage again and said to the guests, I hope that no one will speak about what happened today. Don't leak it out. It involves the face of the Heavenly Elixir sect. Everyone should be clear about the consequences. These people were the relatives and clansmen of the Tang family. Usually, they had to rely on the Tang family to survive. Since Big Brother Tang had ordered them to do this, they naturally wouldn't talk about it casually. Moreover, it involved the face of the Heavenly Elixir sect, so they couldn't talk about it carelessly. After all, no one would complain about having a long life. Therefore, after Tang Big Bro gave the order, everyone nodded one after another, not daring to have the slightest doubt. After the banquet, the people of the hidden right family did not stay for long and left with the emissary of the heavenly elixir sect. Of course, Yu Jintian did not have any objections to hiding the Tang family. They had left in a hurry because they had to accompany the heavenly elixir sect's envoy. They could not possibly let the envoy leave alone, right? Relatively speaking, Yu Jintian was quite satisfied with the decision made by the hidden Tang family today. This way, the hidden Tang family would be tied together with the hidden House Yu and the heavenly elixir sect's interests. They had no other choice and could not turn back. After returning to the hotel, Lin Yi let out a long breath. What he did today was indeed a little risky. Looking at the smiling Bingtang sitting in front of him, Lin Yi felt a little uncomfortable. Sky Class Girl, why are you looking at me? I didn't think that you would open my eyes today. You dared to hit the people of the heavenly elixir sect. Aren't you afraid that they will take revenge? Bingtang was getting more and more confused about Lin Yi. This guy could sometimes put down his status and dignity for some things, begging for her sympathy for Xiao Xiao. But sometimes he would rather die than submit. He would rather go against the heavenly elixir sect than compromise. But no matter what, Lin Yi did it for Xiao Xiao, for the person he loved. This made Bingtang look at Lin Yi in a higher light. At this moment, she didn't think that Lin Yi wasn't good enough for Xiao Xiao anymore. At the very least, what he'd done was worthy of Xiao Xiao's love. Even if they want revenge, it's you. I'm just a small fry. They won't be able to find me for now, Lin Yi said, faintly. Plus, do you think that the heavenly elixir sect's messenger will say what happened today? If he loses face, it's not his problem. It's the heavenly elixir sect's face. If he says what happened today, the heavenly elixir sect will be in a passive position. They have to fight back, but they don't have the confidence to take down the ice palace. If they don't fight back, isn't that the same as admitting defeat? So, as long as the messenger isn't stupid, he'll keep his mouth shut. As for the hidden House Tang and House Yu, no one would dare to say anything. I'm still safe. It seems like you've thought it through. You're not someone who doesn't care about the consequences. Bingtang nodded. Lin Yi was right. She thought about it too. But your identity as a refiner has been exposed. I've revealed that I'm only at the first or second level of the golden class, not too high or too low. House Yu doesn't even care about my strength, let alone the heavenly elixir sect. But at most, they'll wonder if I have a master behind me. But the more they think about it, the more mysterious my identity is. They won't dare to act recklessly, Lin Yi said. It's good that you know. Bingtang was satisfied with Lin Yi's answer. Tonight I'll be bringing Xiao Xiao back. Good luck. I hope that the next time I see you, you'll have strength that will make me think highly of you. Don't worry, wifey. Lin Yi smiled. Bingtang took a deep breath. She wanted to say scram, but she held it in. She didn't want to dispel Lin Yi's ambition. She wanted him to have hope. As for the existence of a first-level mystic refiner and the existence that surpassed Sky Class, she never thought that Lin Yi could achieve it. So, it didn't matter if she rejected him or not. Lin Yi brought Tang Yin, Mr. Tang, Mrs. Tang, and Xiao Ming and parted ways with Bingtang, Xiao Xiao, and Xiao Qing. Xiao Xiao looked at Lin Yi and Tang Yin. She didn't want to leave. It was only a few days, but it made Xiao Xiao feel like she had returned to school. It was still the same, playing with Lin Yi and Tang Yin without any worries. But reality and imagination were different. She had to wake up from her dreams. Xiao Xiao had to accept this reality. Lin Yi, honey, you have to work hard too. Xiao Xiao knew that if she broke through to Sky Class and Lin Yi didn't, it'd be a tragedy for the two of them to be together. When they really had to go to Sky Class Island, Xiao Xiao didn't want to be alone. Huh. All right. Lin Yi nodded. Don't worry. Not only will I work hard, but I'll also bring Yun Yun, Yao Yao, and Shu to our old home in Star West Village. I'll see if there's any art suitable for them. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1676. As for the practitioner's arts, Lin Yi did ask Bingtang about it, but the Ice Palace practitioner's arts were mainly suitable for ice elements. Not everyone could use it. As for other types of arts, the Ice Palace really didn't collect them. The Ice Palace was different from the other ancient sects. They only collected according to physique, so there was no need for them to prepare other arts. No pop-up window, of course, if it was a normal one. Bingtang could find a few, but there really wasn't anything special about it. Lin Yi probably wouldn't be interested in it. This time, he had to find a suitable practitioner's art. He couldn't just find a random one. All right, I'll wait for you in the Ice Palace. Xiao Xiao hugged Lin Yi and stood on her tiptoes to kiss Lin Yi's cheek. She quickly let go of Lin Yi and said to Tang Yin, embarrassed, "Tang Yin, sis, don't be jealous. I won't kiss you now, but I don't know how long it'll be before I can kiss you again. You guys might be even closer then." Xiao Xiao was bold, but with Tang Yin beside her, she was still a little shy. "Of course not," Tang Yin smiled. "Take care of yourself. Don't tire yourself out." "Don't worry, Tang Yin, sis." Xiao Xiao nodded. Just as Lin Yi and the others were returning to Songshan, Qibing was waiting for the good news from Blood Cloak Yellow Springs in the floating cloud bar. I wonder if this Blood Cloak Yellow Springs is reliable. It's been so long, and there's still no news from them. Did they deal with Lin Yi? Qibing waited for news every day, but he was always disappointed. Master Bing, this Blood Cloak Yellow Springs is a very domineering sect, but they're not weak. If they send out 3 to 4 mystic late phase peak masters, they should be able to take care of Lin Yi easily, Boshu said. At the moment, the news about the hidden Tang family had not spread because Big Brother Tang had given a gag order. None of the guests present would speak of what happened at the birthday banquet, so it was normal that the other hidden families did not get the news. Forget it, let's not talk about this. Sihua, how's business lately? Qibing had spent 10 million just to kill Lin Yi. It wasn't a lot, but for someone like him who wanted to do more for House Zhao, the money he lost was the same as the money he earned, wasn't it? The construction of the new Qibing skyscraper is almost complete, and the transformation of the slums is also in progress. Sihua said, "This time I've decided to build the Qibing skyscraper in the slums area. I'm planning to sell the land that was in the Qibing skyscraper to get cash or build a shopping mall." "Oh, why did you build it in the slums area?" Qibing was taken aback. "That place. The building collapsed twice in a row, and it's a little inauspicious, so I decided to build it in the slums area on my own. It'll be more convenient to do it together with the reconstruction of the slums," Sihua said. "Master Bing, didn't you say that I can make my own decisions when it comes to business? I didn't want to disturb you, so I thought it wasn't a big deal." "Oh, I see. It wasn't a big deal in the first place." Qibing nodded. "It's better if we change the place. I feel sad whenever I see the previous place. It reminds me of the humiliation of my broken leg and the collapse of the building twice. Changing the place will be a new beginning." "All right, but the orphanage thing hasn't been settled yet. The old dean's temper is bad and stubborn. I scared her once, but she didn't do anything," Sihua said. "After that, things kept happening here. Yao Wang and Uncle Zhu were both injured, so we didn't bother them anymore." "Master Bing, what do you think? Fuck, it's one thing for Lin Yi to be cocky, but a small orphanage is acting like that? Bring some people and scare them a little more. If they don't listen, burn them down and see if they can't move." Zhao Qibing was now a core member of House Zhao. Naturally, his tone was a lot more arrogant. "Yes, Master Bing. I'll bring some people over to warn them," Sihua said. The two were discussing the development of the real estate when a man in black walked into the bar. It was the contact from Bloodcloak Underworld. Jianong didn't dare to stop him and followed the man into the inner room. The man stood in front of Zhao Qibing and said coldly, "Zhao, you're doing this on purpose, aren't you?" "Ah." Qibing was happy to see the man in black, thinking that they'd killed Lin Yi already, but he didn't think that the man's first sentence would confuse him. "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" What did I do to you? Did you kill Lin or not? Kill? We sent 3 mystic late phase peak masters, and all of them turned into corpses. You tell me, did you kill him? The contact from Blood Cloak Underworld humphed coldly. According to our people's judgment, Lin Yi's side is at least an Earth class, and I think there's more than one Earth class. Otherwise, how could 3 of us mystic late phase peak masters die? What kind of information are you providing? All 3 are dead? Qibing froze. Are you serious? Are you serious? Lin is only a golden class, late phase peak. Even if he wasn't poisoned, he's only a mystic late phase peak. You sent 3 mystic late phase peak masters like Lin, and 3 of them didn't kill him? Nonsense. Our people are dead now. The man in black said coldly. Xiao, what do you mean? I told you not to hide your strength, and you still dare to hide it? Do you think that Blood Cloak Underworld is a pushover? What did I hide? Qibing raged. That Lin Yi is a mystic late phase peak master, and he participated in the Ice Palace's test. We all know how strong he is. If he was above Earth class, how could he participate in the test? So you're saying that it was Lin Yi who broke through? The man in black asked. I don't know about that, but I'm not lying. Qibing was both shocked and furious. He didn't think that 3 mystic late phase peak masters would be killed by Lin Yi. Fuck, why was Lin Yi so cruel? Thank God he didn't ask Boss Zhu to help, or Boss Zhu would have been killed as well. But Zhao Qibing couldn't understand how Lin Yi could kill 3 masters at the peak of the late phase of the Mystic Division. Even if Lin Yi was an Earth class early phase master, he wouldn't be able to do that easily, not to mention that Lin Yi was poisoned. Target equals _blank. Chapter 16, 77. I don't care if you're lying or not. Our losses are all because of you. 3 masters of the late phase peak of the Mystic class are gone just like that. Within half a year, you have to pay us 300 million as funeral fees, or else, haha. The man in black didn't finish his sentence, but it wasn't hard to imagine that Zhao Qibing and the others would be buried with him. 300 million? Zhao Qibing took in a cold breath. He hadn't earned much recently, and now he had to pay 300 million? Wasn't this a joke? That's right. You have to accept this price, whether you want to or not. I'm just informing you. The man said, remember, I'll be back to collect the debt in half a year. Don't even think about running away. Even if you run to the ends of the earth, you won't be able to escape from us. Blood Cloak Yellow Spring sect knew that Zhao Qibing wouldn't be able to take out 300 million at once, so they gave them half a year. Of course, Blood Cloak Yellow Spring sect was basically an ancient sect, so they weren't afraid of the hidden house Xiao. They were a nest of assassins, and no one knew where their headquarters was. Therefore, ordinary people didn't dare to provoke such a sect. Otherwise, no matter where you went, there would be experts chasing after you all day long. How could you do other things? With that, the black-clothed man left, leaving Zhao Qibing gritting his teeth in anger. Fuck, what the hell? You're asking for money when you're dead? Qibing was pissed. If he really wanted to kill Lin Yi, he could have just asked for 300 million. He'd get the money even if he had to sell everything he had, but now, wasn't this 300 million too much of a waste? Funeral fees? Master Bing, we have to pay them, and we can't go back on our word. Otherwise, there'll be big problems in the future. Boss Zhu said sadly, Master Bing, I'm really sorry about this. I didn't expect the Bloodcloth Underworld sect to fail. They have a good reputation in the industry. Who knew this time? It's fine, Boss Zhu. Money is just a worldly possession, but it won't be a problem to get 300 million in half a year. But, Sai, it's all for nothing. Zhao Qibing waved his hand. To him, losing 300 million was nothing, but Boss Zhu was an Earth-class master, and he cared a lot about it. It's fine, Master Bing. I've saved a lot of money over the years, and I can still afford 300 million. I'll pay it. I'm happy to hear that. Boss Ju saw that Master Bing didn't blame him and instead comforted him. He was touched and decided to pay the 300 million himself. Boss Ju was an Earth-class master after all. He had taken on a lot of private jobs over the years and earned a lot of extra money. 300 million was still within his reach. He didn't spend much on normal days, unlike the hidden Zhao family, which had a lot of income but a lot of expenses. They didn't have much money left every year. All right, then consider this 300 million as a loan for me. When I take charge of the Zhao family, I will definitely give you a great merit. Zhao Qibing didn't reject it. After all, he needed money now, and he had to take credit from the house. If he gave it all to the Blood Cloak underworld sect, he'd be looked down upon by his family. With Master Bing's words, I will do anything for you. Boss Zhu said, don't mention this in the house. Let bygones be bygones. Just treat it as a lesson. Fuck, if only we told them that Lin Yi was an Earth-class master, and they'd send a Sky-class master to kill Lin Yi. It wouldn't be more than 300 million. It's such a waste of money. Zhao Qibing said helplessly. Indeed, but who would have thought that Lin Yi leveled up again? Didn't we think of saving money back then? Killing a Golden-class master only cost 10 million, but killing an Earth-class master would cost more than 200 million. Boss Zhu smiled bitterly. Sometimes it's really a big loss to be greedy. Forget it, Sihua. Go and study the demolition. Try to earn as much money as possible to recoup the loss of 300 million. Qibing ordered. Yes. Sihua finished. Then I'll contact the people from the orphanage again in the next few days. If they still don't know what's good for them, then don't blame us for being impolite. In the orphanage, the dean and Yu Xiaoko were worried about the relocation of the orphanage. But after such a long time, there was no news from Qibing Real Estate. The two of them thought that they had given up on developing the land for the orphanage and breathed a sigh of relief. Spending money like water. It seems like we'll have to find something to do after a while. We can't just sit around and eat, can we? Xiaoka couldn't help but frown as she spoke to the dean. The treasures she brought from the tomb were being used up quickly. It's not sitting around and eating. Xiaoka, convert the money you brought back into money and deposit it in the bank. The interest every year should be enough to maintain the orphanage's expenses. As long as it doesn't increase the expenses too much, there shouldn't be a problem. The dean said, don't do this anymore, it's too dangerous. When you came back from robbing tombs, I was scared when you told me about it. I'm afraid it was even more dangerous back then. Yeah, but what else can I do if I don't do this? Xiaoka had been unemployed at home recently and didn't find anything that could earn her money. It was even harder for her to be a thief. Because of the bank robbery in Songshan, there were patrol cars everywhere. Xiaoka didn't dare to go out and commit crimes. As for robbing tombs, Xiaoka really didn't dare to do it anymore. After the last time, she realized how dangerous it was. If it wasn't for the male thief protecting her, she would have died a long time ago. Male thief. Xiaoka blushed at the thought of him. This was the first time she had fallen in love with him, caring for her everywhere, not letting her get hurt at all. In Xiaoka's heart, the male thief's figure had been deeply imprinted. She didn't know what he looked like, didn't know if he was handsome or not, but that wasn't important to her. She only liked the male thief who covered his face and blocked her way. Xiao Ku, you've worried about the orphanage for so many years and spent so much effort. Now that the orphanage has nothing to worry about, you should find someone to marry. You can't stay in the orphanage for the rest of your life, right? This isn't a place for a young girl like you to stay in. The dean looked at Xiaoka's blushing face. How could she not know what she was thinking? Target equals _blank. Chapter 16, 78. The dean was young once, and she had her own love. Naturally, she encouraged Xiaoka to pursue her own happiness. Xiaoka felt embarrassed when the dean saw through her thoughts. "Chino pop-up window. Ha, is it that Linny?" The dean smiled. "Why hasn't he come recently?" "It's not him." Xiaoka shook her head. Although Lin Yi helped her a few times, she didn't have the same feelings towards Lin Yi as she did towards the male thief. Plus, Lin Yi was an annoying person. How could he say that someone else's martial arts were useless? How infuriating. "Oh, it's not him? That's—" Before the old dean could finish his words, someone rushed into the room. "Dean Manager Lee from Cheebing Real Estate is here. He said that he wants to discuss the relocation of our orphanage." Ken walked in and said to the dean, "Oh, why are they here again?" The dean frowned. She didn't expect that the people from Cheebing Real Estate would come to her door again. "Xiaoka, rest first. I'll go with Ken." "Dean, do you need me to go with you?" Xiaoka was worried when she heard that the people from Cheebing Real Estate were here. Master Bing said that if the orphanage didn't agree to the relocation, he would teach the orphanage a lesson. "It's useless even if you go." The old dean waved his hand and said, "Your strength is too weak. If they want to make a move, it will be futile even if you go. If they negotiate peacefully, then you won't be able to make the decision even if you go. It's better for you to rest. This period of time has been enough for you." "All right then." Xiaoka didn't force it. After all, the dean was telling the truth. Xiaoka wasn't good at negotiating. What if she said something she shouldn't and made both parties unhappy? Dean and Ken walked out of Xiaoka's room, and she turned on the TV casually. She was about to change the channel when she heard a piece of news on the TV. "What's going on?" "This is Songshan News Bulletin. We're broadcasting an important piece of news. Under the heavy assault of our city's police force, we've arrested the grave robbers couple, James Grave Robber Gang, Old Hay Grave Robber Gang, and a few other Grave Robbers Gang members. They're currently being held at the detention center. This case will be heard in XX City's court tomorrow. The criminals will be escorted to XX City's detention center tonight. Due to the large number of criminals, this section will be temporarily closed at 10 p.m. for half an hour. Drivers, please avoid this time period or take a detour." Yu Xiaoka didn't hear the rest of the news, but she did hear that the tomb robbers couple had been caught in one fell swoop. Did that mean that the male thief had also been caught? Xiaoka didn't know if there was some kind of internal conflict between the grave robbers, or else why would so many of them be caught at the same time? But no matter what the reason was, Xiaoka didn't care. What she cared about was the male thief. The male thief was caught, and he was going to be sent to the court tomorrow? Xiaoka stood up abruptly, pacing around the room in panic. If the case really went to court, with the amount of money that the male thief had stolen, he could be sentenced to life imprisonment or even death. How could Xiaoka watch the man she loved die? But what could Xiaoka do? She could only watch the news. She didn't know who to ask. The first person she thought of was Lingshan, but she never got along with Lingshan. What if she got caught before she could find out anything? That wouldn't be worth it. What should she do? Rob the execution field? A scene from a TV show popped up in Xiaoka's mind. This thought scared Xiaoka herself. But as soon as the idea popped up, Xiaoka couldn't help but want to do it. She had no other choice. Although this decision was very dangerous, and she might die a horrible death, Xiaoka didn't regret it. If it weren't for the male thief, she would have died a long time ago. Now that he was caught, he might be sentenced to death as well. Xiaoka thought that since they couldn't be together in life, they might as well die together. Love always made people impulsive, and although impulsiveness was the devil, Xiaoka couldn't stop herself from doing it. But if she died, what would happen to the children in the orphanage? With that thought, Xiaoka hesitated again. She liked the male thief, and she wanted to sacrifice herself for love, but the children in the orphanage were behind her. It was an invisible mission and responsibility, and she had to think about the children's future before she did it. On one side was love and loyalty, and on the other side was the children in the orphanage. This was the first time Xiaoka was in a dilemma. She had never liked anyone before, and she put all her heart and soul into the children in the orphanage. But this time, she had the shadow of the male thief in her heart. But if she didn't take care of the male thief's safety, she would feel guilty for the rest of her life. She remembered that the headmaster said that the money she got from robbing the tombs would be enough for the orphanage's future expenses. Xiaoka let out a sigh of relief. Xiao Ken was all grown up now, so she should let him take care of the orphanage? She didn't need to do dangerous things anymore, and she only needed him to take care of the children. This way, Xiaoka could die in peace. Even if she died, she wouldn't have to worry about anything. With that thought, Xiaoka made her decision. She would talk to Xiao Ken later and let him take care of the orphanage. Then, she would carry out her big plan. Xihua's main purpose for coming to the orphanage this time was to scare the orphanage into moving, but the dean was adamant about it. They could move, but they had to replace it with a ready-made orphanage that they could use. The land alone was out of the question. The orphanage wasn't a real estate company, so what was the use of land? As a result, the negotiations didn't go smoothly at all. Cihua, on the other hand, left some harsh words before he left. Dean, I'd advise you to agree to our company's proposal. Otherwise, humph, you'll end up with nothing in the end. You don't even have this condition. Cihua said. The headmaster didn't reply to Cihua's words. He had the strength of a golden class. But because of his severe internal injuries, he couldn't even use half of his strength. Target equals _blank. Chapter 16, 79. Besides, Cihua had made it clear that they had an earth class. If he didn't know what was good for him, then the consequences would be very serious. In fact, the old director also wanted to find a quieter place to rebuild an orphanage. But rebuilding the orphanage required funds, and it was not something that could be achieved with just a thought. To be honest, if Li, Cihua found a secluded piece of land and built an orphanage on it, and so did the dean. They would agree to the exchange. The position was of no use to these children, and the old dean hoped that these children would, living a better life. To Kitara, however, a piece of land was completely useless to the old dean. Even so, the old dean knew that he had no choice but to accept it. If they persisted, they might anger Cihua and Zhao Qibing. What would they do then? Things might not necessarily turn out that way. In order not to worry Xiaoka, the dean didn't tell her about this. She was the one who was responsible for this. He was talking to Cihua alone. Not even Ken knew about it. At this moment, Ken had been called back by Xiaoka and was making arrangements for his funeral. Xiao Ken, you've grown up. I'll leave the orphanage to you in the future. You'll help the orphanage. Boss, take care of everything. Xiaoka said solemnly to Xiao Ken. Xiao Ken was a little muddled. He didn't know what was going on when Xiaoka suddenly called him here. Xiaoka's straightforward words confused him. Sister Xiaoka, I've been assisting you all along. Are you and the old director managing the orphanage? Yes, but from now on, it's just you. Xiaoka sighed. Xiao Yao, you're the only one. But I might not be able to help you anymore. Sister Xiao Ku, are you leaving the orphanage? Xiao Ken was stunned. You are going to marry? Where is he? When Xiao Ken said this, he was a little disappointed. Yu Xiao was an older boy, the goddess in their hearts, but she was just a goddess. They didn't dare to do anything to you, Xiaoka. Divide and think. Holy Church, more or less. Xiaoka nodded. You have to promise Xiaoka sis that you'll do it in the future. Take care of your brothers and sisters in the orphanage. Okay. Big sister Xiao Ku, will you come back often? Xiao Ken was a little reluctant. I might not be able to come back. Xiaoka sighed and decided to tell the truth. Xiao Ken had grown up, and he was a sensible child. Most importantly, he was a loyal child. Son, You know how to repay kindness. So if Xiaoka told him, he'd probably understand her feelings. Can't come back? What do you mean? Ken felt that something was wrong with Xiaoka. He asked, Sister Xiaoka, what are you trying to say? Why does it look like you're going to the execution ground? Xiao Ken was just joking, but he didn't expect that he would hit the mark. It's about the same. Xiaoka nodded and said, Xiao Ken, Xiaoka sis. This time, I'm actually going to save someone. Save someone. Who does Sister Xiao Ke want to save? Xiao Ken asked curiously. A person who treats Big Sister Xiao Ke very well. Big Sister Xiao Ke also likes him very much. He is Big Sister Xiao Ke, the prince on a white horse in my heart. Xiaoka said as she started to explain everything in detail. She told Xiao Ken everything once more. She didn't tell the dean about these things back then. Xiaoka purposely hid the ambiguous feelings between her and the male thief. But now, she didn't hide it from Xiao Ken. She put it in her heart. She told Xiao Ken all the things that she had been holding back for a long time. This time, Xiaoka had made up her mind. There was no turning back, so the details of the matter were clear. She had to explain everything clearly. Sister Xiao Ke, you're going to the execution ground? You don't want to live anymore? Xiao Ken's eyes widened. Even if the male thief helped you before, you can't do something stupid like this. If you go, you'll be able to come back? Really? Not only won't you be able to save him, but you'll also die. I've thought about this a long time ago. Xiaoka shook her head. Helplessly, I know. With my current strength, it's extremely hard to save someone, but if I don't go, I'll never be able to get over it. If I don't go, I'll never be able to get over it. If I die, then so be it. I like him, and I'll die for him. I'm willing. Xiao Ken, you're still young. You don't know what it's like to love someone. Who says I don't understand? Xiao Ken's face turned red, and he hurriedly said, I like Sister Xiao Ke. I don't want to let her go. Go and die. This isn't the same. Xiao laughed. Xiao Ken, your liking is just a form of worship. After I leave, you will be the backbone of the orphanage. Those children will love you and respect you, worship you. Now that everything in the orphanage has been stabilized, I can leave in peace. Ken knew Xiaoka's personality. She was a very stubborn and strong-willed person. What had been decided would be done. But Xiao Ken really didn't want Xiaoka to die. She was destined to never return. So she said, Sister Xiaoka isn't your boyfriend, Big Brother Lin Yi? How did he fall in love with someone else? Brother Lin Yi is so good. Why do you have to like a nobody? Miao's male thief? Lin Yi. That's just a misunderstanding. Xiaoka shook her head. There's nothing between us. Lin Yi is a good person, but he always looks down on me. I don't have any feelings for him. But Robber is different. I like him. Sister Xiaoka, have you spoken to the dean? Xiao Ken really had no choice. She could only bring up the dean's name, hoping that the dean would stop Xiaoka and not let her go. Do something stupid. Don't tell the old dean about this. I'll leave her a letter, and you can pass it to her for me. Xiaoka sighed. She knew that the dean loved her as if she was his own daughter. Therefore, if the old dean knew about this, he would definitely take the risk with him. But Xiaoka didn't want the dean to take the risk with her, so she decided to leave first. Orphanage site, Xiao Ken could replace him. But president absolutely couldn't be without him. So Xiaoka said to Xiao Ken seriously, Xiao Ken, you are the oldest and the most sensible one. You know, if the old dean finds out about this, she will definitely accompany me. She was the most sensible one. You know, if the old dean knew about this, she would definitely accompany me. If there's danger, will you let her go? But Xiao Ken knew that Xiaoka was telling the truth after hearing her words. This made Xiao Ken hesitate. He was in a difficult position. On one hand, he didn't want Xiaoka to take the risk. On the other hand, he knew Xiaoka's personality. Once she decided to do something, she would do it no matter how hard it was. Target equals underscore blank. Chapter 1680. No buts. Xiao Ken, promise me that you'll take good care of the kids in the orphanage, okay? Xiaoka stared at Xiao Ken without blinking. Okay. Xiao Ken had no choice but to nod under Xiaoka's gaze. I'll try my best. But Xiaoka sis, you have to be careful. If you can't do it, don't do it. Just do it. Haha. There's a type of love called going through life and death together, and there's a type of love called risking one's life. Xiao Ken laughed. But, Xiaoka sis, you and that male thief. There's no love, Xiao Ken tried to persuade Xiaoka. There's a type of love called love at first sight, and there's a type of love called moths flying into flames, Xiaoka said. She said, although it was only for a short moment, it was engraved in my heart. At that moment, his love for me was deeply engraved in my heart. His love for me at that moment is something I'll never forget. Ah. Xiao Ken looked at Xiaoka, not knowing what to say. He didn't know how to say it. He knew that no matter what he said, Xiaoka would do it. There was no point in saying it. Don't frown. Without Xiaoka sis, you'll be the big brother of the orphanage from now on. You need to take care of your brothers and sisters. What do you look like now? Xiaoka laughed. Don't let me leave in peace. Okay. Xiao Ken nodded helplessly. Then when are you leaving? Tonight at 10. It's 7 now, I should be leaving. Xiaoka said, there's still some distance from XX detention center. There's still some distance to the XX detention center, so I have to make preparations in advance. And so, Xiaoka left a letter in front of Xiao Ken and left the orphanage. Xiao Ken took Xiaoka's letter. Xiaoka told him to give it to the old house tomorrow. Elder, don't give it to the dean right after she leaves. The dean will catch up to her if that happens. Things will become more troublesome. What should I do? What should I do? Xiao Ken didn't want anything to happen to Xiaoka, but with his abilities he couldn't stop or help Xiaoka. He didn't know martial arts, so he wouldn't be able to help Xiaoka even if he went. He was busy, but he couldn't trouble the dean. Suddenly, Xiao Ken had a flash of inspiration. He thought of someone. Perhaps this person could help Xiaoka. This person was Lin Yi, the man Ken had mistaken for Xiaoka's boyfriend, his Xiaoka sis, husband. But from the looks of it, that didn't seem to be the case. But that was not important. What was important was that Lin Yi seemed to be very good at martial arts. Tall, very powerful. If he could help Sister Xiaoka, then Sister Xiaoka would win. The odds should be quite high. The problem was, would Lin Yi help Xiaoka? Ken was hesitant. She asked Lin Yi for help. But not only did Lin Yi refuse to help, he even leaked the information to the police. That would be even more dangerous. But Ken remembered that Yu Xiao had been injured by Ling Shan last time, and it was Lin Yi who had saved her. If he wanted to tell Ling Shan about Xiaoka, he would have told her already. He wouldn't have waited until now. Therefore, Xiao Ken was relieved again. He had Lin Yi's number in his hands. Lin Yi had left it for him last time. He didn't think that he would actually need it. Lin Yi had just sent Tang Yin, Mr. Tang, Mrs. Tang, and Xiao Ming back to House Tang's new house. He drove back to House Chu's villa, telling Meng Yao and Yushu about what happened at House Tang. Suddenly his phone rang. Lin Yi thought that it was Tang Yin, but the number on the phone was unfamiliar. It was an existing number in the phone book, a local landline number in Songshan. Hello. Lin Yi picked up. Hello. The other side was silent for a while before saying, hello. Who are you looking for? What's the matter? The other side didn't say anything. Lin Yi didn't know what was going on. How strange. In fact, Xiao Ken was organizing his words. He called Lin Yi out of impulse. But he didn't know how to tell Lin Yi about this. I'm Xiao Ken. Xiao Ken said carefully, do you remember me? Xiao Ken? Oh, I remember you. You're the kid from the orphanage, right? Lin Yi pondered for a while and remembered Xiao Ken. He remembered Ken, the boy who worshipped Xiaoka, a little. It's me, it's me. Xiao Ken heard that Lin Yi remembered him and was happy. You're sometimes now. Sometimes now? What's the matter? Lin Yi paused and asked. It was almost night time. It was 8 o'clock. What could Xiao Ken be looking for him at this time? Plus, it wasn't Xiaoka who was looking for him. Usually, Xiaoka would be the one who contacted him about the orphanage. But Xiao Ken calling him meant that he was looking for him behind Xiaoka's back. This made Lin Yi confused. I have something important to talk to you about. Can I see you? It's urgent, Xiao Ken said with certainty. Okay, where are you? I'll come to you now. Lin Yi hesitated and agreed. He had a good impression of Xiao Ken. So if Xiao Ken asked him for help, it wouldn't be very troublesome. He'd still agree to help if it wasn't something too troublesome. I'm at the orphanage, Xiao Ken said. Then I'll wait for you in the alley in front of the orphanage. I want to see you alone. All right, I'll head over now. Lin Yi nodded, feeling more and more excited after hearing what Ken said. He was sure that Xiao Ken was contacting him behind Xiaoka's back. After hanging up, Yushu asked, Shield bro, it's so late. Are you going out? I have something to do. Xiao Ken from the orphanage is looking for me. It seems urgent. Lin Yi said, Oh, then come back early. Big Sis Yao Yao and I are getting excited listening to it. You used the Rising Dragon fist. How badly did you beat that blue-haired guy? Yushu was getting anxious. Haha, I'll tell you guys when I get back. Lin Yi stood up with a smile, picking up his car keys. He picked up the car key and walked out of the mansion. Lin Yi planned to ask Faubert about martial arts. Jiao Yazi didn't know anything. The only person Lin Yi could ask was Faubert. Faubert used to be an Earth-class master. He must have some understanding of martial arts. It was his fault. He didn't understand the Earth class before, and he didn't know that the Earth class was a dividing line. It was the beginning of the path to a higher level. He thought it was the same as the Mystic and Golden class. He only used chi and punches to fight the enemy. Target equals _blank. Chapter 1681. After getting in the car, Lin Yi went directly to the orphanage. In the alley of the orphanage, Lin Yi saw a young man with a strange face. His face was anxious as he looked left and right, waiting for Lin Yi Xiao Ken. Did you wait too long? Let's talk in the car. Lin Yi drove the car to Xiao Ken's side. He said, Brother Lin Yi, you're here. Xiao Ken's face lit up when he saw Lin Yi. She quickly got into Lin Yi's car. After Xiao Ken got in the car, Lin Yi parked the car in the roadside parking space, then said to Xiao Ken, Can you say it now? Why are you looking for me so urgently? Xiao Ken quickly nodded. Brother Lin Yi, something happened to Sister Xiaoko. Can you help her? Help her? Little Ko? What happened to her? Lin Yi was stunned after hearing Xiao Ken's words. Lin Yi hadn't seen Xiaoka for a long time after the tomb raid, but he still felt a little nervous. At this moment, Yu Xiaoka's cute and shy face appeared clearly in front of Lin Yi. It was as if the moment Xiaoka spoke her mind happened yesterday, and he could still remember it vividly. Yeah, right. He had developed a slight liking for the girl, but the two of them were destined to never cross paths again. His identity had already become a part of history, and he would never appear in front of the world again. Hearing that Xiaoka was in trouble, Lin Yi's heart tightened. He still cared about her. Although the sanctuary, however, just like Yu Ning's eagle at that time, the male thief also had a different identity. This was one of Lin Yi's identities. Sister Xiao Ku is going to rob the execution ground. Can you help her? Otherwise, she won't be able to return. Xiao Ken said anxiously. Rob the execution ground? Lin Yi was stunned. Rob what execution ground? Don't tell me you've watched too many dramas? No. It's like this. Ken didn't dare to hide anything and told Xiaoka everything. He relayed what he said to Lin Yi. Ken had a good memory and almost didn't miss a word. He told Lin Yi, "What? You're saying that Xiaoka is going to save the male thief?" Lin Yi's eyes widened. He didn't know what to say. However, Xiaoka's words made Lin Yi's heart sour. There's a kind of love called going through thick and thin together, regardless of personal safety. Love at first sight, like a moth flying into a flame. This was the love between Xiaoka and the male thief. The two had gone through life and death together in the tomb. Robber's protection made Xiaoka fall in love with him at first sight, which was why she was throwing herself at him like a moth. Fire! She knew she couldn't do it, but she still did it. This was proof of Xiaoka's thoughts. Yeah, big brother Lin Yi, can you help her? Ken was a little worried. He was afraid that Lin Yi would also. He liked Xiaoka, but he knew that Xiaoka would be unhappy if she liked someone else. So he just left her alone. But she couldn't lie to Lin Yi either. This silly girl is really... Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Robbed the execution ground? She thought it was ancient. What about TV dramas? Easy for you to say. Yeah, then, what should we do? Ken didn't know what Lin Yi really meant, so he could only keep quiet. She asked, "All right, leave it to me. I'll go help her. However, don't tell anyone about me helping her. I may help her secretly." Lin Yi pondered for a moment and said to Ken, "Okay." Ken was stunned. What does Lin Yi mean? Doing a good deed without leaving your name? Or actually, he liked Sister Xiaoka too. He didn't want Sister Xiaoka to know that he was helping Sister Xiaoka to save Brother Xiaoka. Love rival? But no matter what, it was a good thing that Lin Yi agreed. Ken's request to Lin Yi, he agreed without hesitation. "All right, then it's settled," Lin Yi said. "Go back. I'll definitely let Sister Xiaoka return to the orphanage safely." "All right, it's settled then." Lin Yi couldn't just ignore this matter. Xiaoka went to save the male thief, but the male thief still died. Lin Yi, the real male thief, died a long time ago. What was the point of saving him? The people locked up in the detention center were the couple's accomplices. The news didn't explain it in detail. After letting Ken get out of the car, Lin Yi didn't go straight to the detention center. Instead, he went home first. From the warehouse, he took out the male thief's mask and rushed to the detention center. Near the detention center, Lin Yi put on the male thief's mask. After parking the car, he put on the male thief's mask and got out of the car. Lin Yi had the experience of being an assassin before, so it was easy for him to know where to hide in a terrain. Hiding and observing movements were Lin Yi's expertise. According to Lin Yi's initial observation, he quickly confirmed that there were two possible locations for Xiaoka to hide in. Two possible locations for Xiaoka to hide in. Lin Yi speculated based on his own situation. If he were Xiaoka, where would he hide? Therefore, he easily came to these two conclusions. Xiaoka hid on the right side of the detention center, on top of a big tree. This was a good hiding spot. The lush branches and leaves could not only hide from the surveillance cameras, but also allow Xiaoka to easily see the movements in front of the detention center. But even so, Xiaoka was still very depressed, because when Xiaoka arrived here, she felt that she was very small. Just now, there were already more than 10 police cars entering the detention center, and they were also fully armed. Just now, there were already more than 10 police cars entering the detention center, and there were also fully armed cars leading the way. In this situation, Xiaoka wanted to rely on her own strength to steal away one person. That was simply a pipe dream. Not to mention the fully armed escort team. Even if Xiaoka could hide from these eyes, and chase, it would be extremely difficult to find the car with the male thief in it. Finding the car with the male thief in it out of so many cars was an extremely difficult task. She couldn't just open every car to take a look, right? If that happened, Yu Xiaoka would have been caught or beaten to death. Sigh, this is so depressing. Yu Xiaoka, that Linny was right about you. Your skills are really mediocre. You really hate yourself when you're weak. Yu Xiaoka muttered to herself. She said, if you know that you're weak, you can just fight more normally. A low voice came from behind Yu Xiaoka. It was a low male voice. It's not that easy, Jie. Yu Xiaoka replied subconsciously, but she was shocked. He was startled and nearly fell from the tree. Why was there someone talking? Wasn't she the only one on the tree? Since when was there another person? What? Xiaoka turned around in fear, only to see a masked man. But this masked man didn't scare Yu Xiaoka anymore. Instead, Yu Xiaoka was surprised and happy. You? Me what? Linny asked. You. Shouldn't you be in there? Yu Xiaoka pointed at the guard, not far away. So, she rubbed her eyes in surprise and looked at Linny again. Am I mistaken? You're really a male thief? Target equals _blank. Chapter 1682. Does the flying sparrow have amnesia and forgot about me so quickly? Lin joked. Why would I go there? Didn't they say that the gang of the burglar couple had been wiped out? Xiaoka could confirm after hearing Lin Yi's words that the person in front of her was the male thief she liked. Let's not talk about me first. What are you doing here? Lin Yi asked. No pop-up window I'm just here to take a look. Xiaoka's face reddened. She didn't dare to say that she was here to rob the execution ground. That would be too arrogant. What are you looking at? You heard that I was caught and you want to save me? Lin Yi looked at Xiaoka with a smile that wasn't a smile. But with the mask on, Xiaoka couldn't see Lin Yi's expression. I. Xiaoka's face reddened even more as Lin Yi hit the nail on the head. I just wanted to see if there was a way. Then why did you come here? I heard that you wanted to save me, so I came to save you. Lin Yi said honestly. Don't do something like this next time. I'm fine, don't worry. I'm nervous. Xiaoka wasn't convinced by Lin Yi's words. You save me every time I want. I want to do something for you. Go take care of the orphanage, the children there need you. Don't do something like this again. I just happened to know this time. And if I didn't come, the consequences would be unimaginable. Lin Yi said, don't do something so impulsive in the future. Then, you didn't appear after that, and I couldn't contact you. Xiaoka looked at Lin Yi and said stubbornly, if you visit me every once in a while, then I won't come anymore, right? Lin Yi looked at Xiaoka, speechless. Xiaoka's request really put Lin Yi in a difficult position. If it weren't for the fact that he had no other choice, Lin Yi wouldn't have picked up the identity of the male thief and appeared in front of Xiaoka. The male thief was a thing of the past. He was a fragment of Xiaoka's memory, a memory that would never appear again. However, Lin Yi had no choice but to appear. Lin Yi didn't want to appear in front of Xiaoka as Lin Yi. He couldn't just run over and tell Xiaoka that he was the male thief and that the male thief was fine, right? Not only would that ruin Xiaoka's beautiful dream, but it would also bring him trouble. Xiaoka seemed to be unhappy with Lin Yi, so Lin Yi thought about it for a long time and decided to use the identity of the male thief to persuade Xiaoka. It was more convincing, and this was also why he told Ken to keep it a secret. Otherwise, if Xiaoka went back and Ken said that he was the one who looked for him, with Xiaoka's intelligence, she wouldn't be able to figure out the connection. I can't appear. Lin Yi sighed and rejected Xiaoka's suggestion. I have my own life. In this world, other than the identity of the male thief, I have another identity. I've already washed my hands of the male thief identity, and I don't want to break my peaceful life. Then, can you tell me who you are in real life? Xiaoka asked carefully. We only met in the tomb, and the one you like is the male thief in the tomb. It's not the me in real life. Lin, he said, if you knew who I am in real life, there would be a huge psychological gap. It's better to keep a bit of mystery and maintain a beautiful image. I won't. The one I like is you. No matter what you look like in real life, I like you. Xiaoke said, I've washed my hands of the criminal world as well, so we're equal now. Huh? Lin Yi smiled. Since you've washed your hands of the criminal world, then forget about the past. Just pretend that the male thief is dead. But you're not dead, and you appeared in front of me again. Xiaoke suddenly said, Right, you're afraid that your girlfriend will find out if I find you after knowing your identity, right? You can say that. Lin Yi didn't answer Xiaoke's question directly. You can say that. That's it. Xiaoke was a little disappointed. Don't worry, I won't disturb you. I just want to know who you are, and if I can see you once in a while, I'll be at ease knowing that you're safe. Forget about that. Lin Yi didn't agree to Xiaoke's suggestion in the end. I'll leave first. You should go back too. Ah? You're leaving? You're not going to care about your underlings? Xiaoke paused. Underlings? I've washed my hands of the criminal world already, and I have nothing to do with them. Lin Yi smiled bitterly in his heart. Underlings? These people were sent to prison by him and Ling Shan, and they were underlings. Oh. Xiaoke nodded. Then I'll go with you? Go back. Perhaps you'll be able to catch up to me next time. Lin Yi turned around and disappeared into the night. Not taking a single leaf with him, Xiaoke rubbed her eyes, shocked. No way? So fast? But no matter what, Xiaoke was still in a very good mood. She was a little disappointed that the male thief didn't reveal his true identity, but the fact that he was here for her meant that he still cared about her. Last time, the male thief had said that he wouldn't appear as the male thief ever again, but this time he still did. Xiaoke was confident that in the near future, she would be able to meet him again. With that thought, Xiaoke was filled with confidence once more. She quickly jumped down from the tree and ran towards the orphanage. Since Lin Yi was fine, the other members of the couple had nothing to do with Xiaoke. Naturally, she wouldn't stay here anymore. Xiao Ken let out a breath of relief when he saw Xiaoke return to the orphanage. It seemed like Lin Yi really did keep his promise and let Xiaoke return safely. Xiao Ken wanted to ask about Lin Yi, but he remembered the promise he made with Lin Yi. Lin Yi said that he would help Xiaoke sis in the dark, so he didn't ask. He was a man of his words, and since he promised Lin Yi, he wouldn't say anything. He was a little surprised. Xiaoke sis, you're back. Did you successfully see the male thief? Yes, I saw him. Xiaoke nodded excitedly. I saw him and he wasn't caught. I don't know where he heard that I was coming to save him, so he came to stop me. Huh, that's not right. How did he know? Target equals _blank. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.